Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 410 of the Pickles and Ink podcast, the official podcast of CG Magazine, where we take a critical eye to gaming, comics, tech, and media. I'm your host today, Krista Hoog, and I'm joined by Dana Eileen.
That's me, and it sounded like you said pickles and ink.
I was
Pickles
gonna
and
say
ink.
Pickles.
but I didn't want to.
Pickles and ink
don't-
podcast.
We turned the
Don't-
podcast into a pickle, Morty.
No, I was saying don't do that. I quit.
Pickles and
I
ink.
fucking hate it forever. And we're joined by Jordan Biordi. Thank you for that.
Hey.
Now they're out to a
like
momentous start. Came in gun
Who brought
came
the
in
pickles?
firing.
Yeah.
No one brought the pickles.
I almost bought pickles at the pumpkin patch. That's a weird thing to say, but it's accurate.
That's the thing you actually did, not just a tongue
Fried
twister.
pickles.
Yeah, actually, that is. Yeah,
And now we're a hungry cast, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Sorry, I got a snack.
I've been
Made
hungry.
good. They
Oh,
sent
is
me
that
a
what it
Nintendo
is?
Switch, so
oh,
Nice.
right, yeah.
see, look, I keep going blurry again. Screw this. Okay, we're
Might not be blurry on the. Sometimes Brian's really pixelated and it's not actually on.
That's actually his
Stream.
face. He just
I've
comes
met
in
him.
A
He
little,
is a
little
he is a
extra
cluster.
square.
Yeah. It's like
Just a little
it's like
square
that.
sometimes.
It's like that Mitch Hedberg joke about Bigfoot. how
Oh, Mitch
Brendan's just a,
Hedberg. Jordan, you might be my soulmate today.
Maybe he's just really
Look at
blurry.
yeah, he's just a blurry figure all the time.
Oh, I dig it.
I've
I
seen
dig
Brendan
it.
in real life. He's never in focus.
Maybe fried beans are good
Or-
all along, and we've just been wasting time.
I like that.
This is our impressions podcast where we reference.
Ordering the club sandwich.
standards.
I'm not even a member. I don't know how.
I don't know how I get away with it, man. Anyways, Brendan's not with us this week because he is. Are we allowed to say where he's at?
He's
Yes,
gambling
we
it
are,
up.
because the first part of it came out today. Do you want me to say
In
it?
Viva Las
you-
Vegas.
You'll
Jordan's
get
on
the
drugs today.
I mean, no, those are
Nvidia
bad.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Nvidia Las Vegas.
No, Brendan got invited down to Vegas for a few days for the big AMD reveals. They just launched their new, oh god, I'm gonna screw this up. Their new GPUs. There's a lovely article you can read all about it on cgmagonline.com. But it's a pretty big deal. They have like a chipset and their own RAM. So I don't know.
Yeah, he said
They sound cool.
the new chip has more RAM than his own laptop. So
Yeah, but that's like for the GPUs. So it's very
oh yeah, the GPU. Sorry, yeah.
No, the chip in the GPU. Do you hear what I'm saying? The chip is part of the GPU. It's chaos.
Ah. Calling from inside the house.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I literally am like, can you just write an article that explains what the hell that means? Because I need that. Like
Can you
that
say
is
this in
what
English,
I need.
please?
Yeah, it's pretty serious, man.
So yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming in that department, which you can read about on cgmagonline.com.
And hopefully reviews about it
Mm.
later down the road.
Yeah. But in the meantime, here we're here to talk about a couple other things that have happened already. Starting with what kicked off the week this week, which was Halloween. We didn't get a chance
Yes.
to rap about this last week, but there was lots of Halloween stuff
Sure.
going on in real time now too.
And Jordan has shaved his face to terrify us all.
Oh God! Don't remind me. Don't tell the people. I know it's a
The
new
man,
beard,
the man
new
with
Jordan.
no beard. Ooh.
So good.
I know. I'm like focusing as hard. This is like 3 days, so I'm like focusing as hard as I can to just like get it back because I need the beard.
I just shaved before I got here. We're good.
Oh yeah, well, it shows.
Thanks. Thanks, little Davises.
I just decided that.
Chris,
next
I can
week-
hear you scratching yours, so that's where we're at.
I
The
mean,
talk makes
Um,
mine itchy, okay?
it's
I
double.
like it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I just decided that next year that like no matter who I be, I'm just gonna go like bearded, because my like options of like costume going are starting to get like whittled down a lot now that I am like a bald man also. So you wouldn't know with the hat, viewers, but yes, there's nothing under here. I mean, there is, but it's a whole mess. Genetics
Why
and
are we just
whatnot.
like,
Shit's
maybe
getting
we
personal
don't
today.
maybe we don't show everybody all the places we do or don't go to. Maybe that brings HR into this, and unfortunately that's me. So
Oh,
Okay.
God help us all.
I
I
know,
just
right?
showed them the head. Oh god, that's gonna get cut out of
Yeah,
context.
yeah.
So
Hey,
So like I
Okay.
like my costume going options are kind of gonna like getting whittled down to like Saitama from One Punch Man and like maybe Kratos if I like bulk up a little bit more and I have the beard.
I think it's easier just to go with a beard.
yeah,
With whatever you're doing, and just people can
And just
just
own it.
adjust. Yeah.
because I didn't even have like because I just went as Mario and I didn't even have like a Mario costume. I just took my like cappy hat and I put on like a red leather jacket that I had and I was like making the joke that like Yorkdale does the sexy Santa, so I was gonna be like the sexy like style Mario.
Sweet Jesus.
So I just tried to pull it off.
I was going to steal Brendan's giant he's got like a full-size
finger.
Chewbacca thing that he got in like a press kit. I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen.
The one that
Wookiee
moves.
pelts in a press kit.
Yeah, there was like a big Wookiee like zippy uppy thingy.
That's pretty
And
funny.
that's been living in
Oh,
his
okay.
closet. And then I forgot it, so I got yelled at. Anyway, I didn't do anything particularly cool.
You didn't do
I
any spooks?
Mm.
Nice.
I took the kids to the pumpkin patch.
Nice.
I made friends with a moo cow. I saw a boy that I used to kiss in college. We're adults now. It's weird.
Oh.
It
So
was
yeah,
all day.
yeah, there were some scares.
Did,
There were some
what
scares.
did you dress? What did the kids dress up as?
My son was the Mandalorian.
Nice.
And my daughter
That's
was a little pink dinosaur, and she had
Nice.
a rough night. She's super sick
Aw.
right now. She started getting
Aw.
sick on Halloween. Like my mom was watching me. She's like, she's so
Mhm.
cuddly. I'm like, no, that's a bad sign.
Get out of the house. Go.
Give her. I was like, give her Tylenol. She's like, no, she's fine. I'm like, I promise you, she is not. She was not fine, guys. She was not
No,
fine.
there's
So she's
something. There's
sick.
a bad bug going around.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I heard.
The whole daycare is down with it. This is what
Same,
we're here to talk
yeah.
about. Anyway, so we went out with
Chris.
her for like an hour,
Oh.
and she went home, and then the other kids went out for like 2 hours because candy. My niece and nephew got, I believe, combined 20 pounds of candy.
That's for
Nice.
2 hours haul. That's not bad. Yeah, my son was also Mario actually, but he went without the
nice.
mustache either because he didn't like
Oh.
it.
Because he didn't like it. Fair.
I mean, I did.
We
have-
don't
fair-
like it either.
Fair play. I
Yeah.
did have the mustache. I just shaved it off after, so everything matched.
That's
So
it all
you,
grow
you have
back
to line
even.
it all up. Yeah, but I also just like I'm not spending that much money on a costume because he'll grow out of
Mhm.
at the age he's at. So I just got some new overalls and a red shirt. And good enough. It looked fantastic.
Yeah.
People loved him. So, and my daughter
Oh,
was
right
a
on.
black cat, but yeah, we had like oddly perfect weather here that wasn't raining for us. So.
Yeah, you know what? It was
Or-
misty as hell. I'll say, like, and it was kind of on and off, where we were, but it held off for the most part. It wasn't until like about the end of the trick or treating because we just took my niece out. My brother wanted to do like a Jedi thing. He ordered a robe off of Amazon, but it didn't show up on time, and he had like his lightsaber that he got at the Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
That he went to like got the whole like made process. Yeah, I did the sexy Mario. My sister and her little like just like a little newborn is they went as like cows, like mama cow and baby cow. And yeah, and my niece went as Spider-Gwen. That was really cool.
Sweet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was
Spider-Gwen.
all right.
Spider-Gwen.
We did my it was actually funny because I didn't realize because I got to my sister's house late that like because I was like we gotta watch Thriller because that's like my like Halloween
for sure.
ritual is to make sure we watch like Thriller in its entirety. And they're like, no, it's like the 6th time we had it on. We're not watching it again. I was like, I wasn't here.
I might just
Um,
like I gotta figure out where Halloween Town lives and just watch that whenever I want because I always forget Halloween and then I'm just depressed.
Yeah, I
Halloween
kind
time.
of wanted to
Yeah.
like watch some more Halloween movies because that's like one thing I don't really do a lot of because I'm not like I don't know I've always been more like about like scary games and scary movies. There's only like a handful of good like horror movies that I like.
Yeah.
I did watch The Cabinet of Curiosities pretty much in its entirety.
I see now it was all on in its entirety in front of me.
Mhm.
That's what I've got to say about it.
Okay.
The ones that I remember are the ones with Andrew Lincoln.
That was a good one.
That one made me ugly cry.
Yeah.
Brendan can
Yep.
attest he did not know what to do with me. Once you involve
Well-
kids, man, and like I was just
And-
sobbing. He's like, "Do you need me to shut it off?" I'm like, "Dude, it already happened. Like, we're done." Sorry.
Did you know who the director was for that one?
No, I didn't know much about the stuff.
So that was the director. God damn, I'm forgetting her name now. The director of that one that was called The Murmuring, was the same director who did The Babadook, and the actress who played like the mom was also the same actress from like who played
Which
the
one's
mom in The Babadook.
Babadook?
The Babadook was that New Zealand horror movie with the tall guy, the top hat. It's kind of like an indie horror movie. It was very popular for like a little while, like I think like 4 or 5 years ago. And yeah, and like it's like both that and The Babadook are kind of like it. Seems like this is her style. Like it's sort of like personal trauma or like personal pain manifest as horror.
God, the horror.
It's a word.
Jennifer Kent, that's who it was. So Jennifer Kent was the director, and Essie Davis was the mom. And yeah, so I like that one a lot. Yeah, I thought the first one with the racist and the locker was like,
The
was
only
okay.
other one I remember is the one with all the paintings.
That was pretty good. Pinkman's Model, that one's based off of an H.P. Lovecraft story. It's like but it was like more like mildly adapted. You could definitely see why Guillermo would have wanted that in his collection, because Guillermo is like very much the kind of guy who's like fascinated with like horror as art and like the beauty of horror. So those two kinds of like stories. But like then again, it is also very much like, you stare into the abyss and the abyss stares back into you kind of thing. Yeah, that one was pretty good. The second one with the rats, I thought was okay. It was pretty good. Not the best, but it was okay. The third one with the alien and the guy who like and the autopsy, the coroner, fucking ruled. That one was great.
I don't like aliens though.
Well, it was but it's I get okay. The fourth one I liked a lot with the cream and the girl who was like basically just like going insane from not being like beautiful enough.
That's fair.
I thought that was
Such
a really
is
good.
Life.
Well, again, that's yeah. I thought it was like a really good kind of like like the like perception of beauty, societal standards, like how that basically does like sort of like fundamentally just drive women insane, right? Because it's just like this impossible standard that they have to meet in relation to men who don't necessarily, because they control everything. And I will say, yeah, the Pinkman's Model was really good. The sixth one with stupid Ron Weasley sucked balls, and I hated it.
I did see that one too. I don't think I hated it.
Freaking stupid.
Honestly,
I hated it.
I'm pretty sure I was throwing a temper tantrum during that one and was playing on my phone.
So this was a roller coaster of emotions for you then.
It wasn't all in one day.
Okay.
It wasn't all
Absolutely
in one day,
ugly crying 1 minute and
but,
tantrum another.
Yeah.
The painting, I don't know. I don't remember.
The seventh one, the viewing that had like Eric Andre kind of like in like not like the lead role. That was like, oh my god, it was so good. Like
we are not the same person.
Well, because it really reminded me a lot of like the kind of like horror movies from like it reminded me a lot of like Dario Argento, like in like the cinematography, the use of color, the use of like music, like just like the framing of every scene. It was really slow, it was really tense. The ending, I thought, didn't deliver like the payoff. I thought that like from the buildup, I thought something like it'd be a little bit more different. I think if that thing had maybe an extra half hour to an hour to like develop everything, it could have been like a really, really good movie. But that one just to me was like, that one was my favorite of the whole collection. Just like, cause I fell in love with the style of the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm picky with my horror or my thriller or my whatever. I'm not into like aliens. I'm not into monsters. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Smile yet. Like it was fine until it wasn't fine anymore. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like slashers to me aren't horror. They're just jump scares. And then when you get into like creatures that also I don't enjoy, as soon as I see something like that, I'm like, that's stupid, and then that's the end of it. Like I just can't get past it. For me, it's like supernatural stuff, that's scary, although that can be done very poorly too. That kind of thing gets under my skin a little bit more, I think. So
yeah, I'm not into slashers and all that stuff. Like the Saw movies, they're just like glorified snuff films to me. And
yeah, those got
I more prefer like the not necessarily just Lovecraft, but that kind of style that he invented of like the whole
Yeah,
Eldritch
more
horror type
esoteric.
thing. Yeah, and not maybe like and not where some people taking it into like strictly body horror dimensions. Like that,
Yeah,
pull it back a bit more.
yeah.
It's a
'cause
it's a
that's-
really weird niche that I like in horror. Like
I think that's
Parasite
kind of
Eve.
yeah. So you might. That's why you probably, if you watched the collection, you'd probably like the fourth or the fifth episode, the Pickman's model, because it really is about that. It's like the one guy who's doing these like really horrifying paintings, like cast against this other guy who's like his whole like stock and trade was like only ever painting the beautiful, like trying to find the beauty in life, right? And it's like next to this other guy who's like painting the ugly side of life, because like there is a certain there is a certain degree of beauty to the macabre and to like the the element of horror, right? Like you see it even in games like Dark Souls and stuff, right? Like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and even Elden Ring have a lot of areas that are very like eldritch and horrifying, but there is this kind of weird beauty to them. And then but then it's also like those paintings, like how like disturbing they are, slowly driving this other guy like to insanity, because he just can't like handle it.
That's probably fine.
I'm kind of the same. I'd say I'm kind of the same way. That's kind of why I like the viewing as much as I did, because like I'm more into that kind of like slow burn, like metaphoric and like kind of like use of like allegory, horror as like allegory kind of thing. And I like when it's more like cerebral. That's kind of the feeling I got from the viewing. I don't mind like slasher flicks and stuff. They're fun when they're like campy.
Yeah,
and stuff,
I think
like,
they're fun. I don't think I wouldn't consider them
Scream.
horror.
Yeah,
Scream's one thing. Yeah,
like
They're
I watched.
fun. They're good. I don't. That's fine. Jump scares, like it's a fun little thing to do. It's like going to a haunted house. It's not genuinely scary. I may punch someone who pops out from around the corner.
I saw
that's a risky take. Yeah,
like I saw a lot of people talking about Terrifier 2 this year, and like I guess I like watching some reviews and listening to some people talk about it. Like there was even Terrifier 1, which I watched I think like a year or two ago, and that one just like to me like again like it wasn't scary. I was like, okay, it's trying a little too hard to be like gross out scares, and there were some dumb things or things that I thought were dumb, but then other people were kind of like, well, you don't really expect it from a slasher villain, so it is kind of like it catches you off guard, and it's like it puts you off balance. And I was like, okay, I didn't consider it that way. I get where you're coming from. I didn't dig it personally, but it's like stuff like that. Like it's like it just to me it's gross out stuff, but like there's a place for it, and people were saying like no, like Terrifier 1 and 2 are actually these kind of like really unique like cult horror movies that nobody really like got on board with. And so like that stuff like that, yeah, like I think Saw 1 is the exception, because like Saw 1 really was like that, like really tightly directed, tightly designed.
Saw 1 was the first time that I saw
Yeah.
something done a little bit differently. It was like
Yeah.
a really messed up take on Seven, kind of. And what's his name? Carrie. I can never say his last name right.
Carrie Elwood or Elway.
It's like ES though, so whatever.
Yeah, it's just Carrie Elway.
Him, that guy. I've never seen someone act so badly in my life. And like Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies. So like I'm sitting down like, what is happening? Why did somebody sit down? Robin Hood Men in Tights, also one of my favorite movies. Like why did someone say good job at the end of that? But also a completely different take on
it is
horror,
meant to be a bit like it's meant to be a bit over
go
the
back
top,
and watch that
obviously.
with me having said this to you, and you'll be like, oh shit.
Maybe it's not so good.
No, the movie itself is just him. He needs to be
Performance,
turned off.
yeah.
Yeah, he needs to be turned off. No bueno. Anyway,
You have ruined my movie. Prepare to die.
yes.
That was that was more or less Halloween. Like aside from playing a lot of Phasmophobia, and I think that was kind of it for horror games. I didn't really dig into anything else. I was just really enjoying Phasmophobia.
I tried out the Halloween stuff for a bunch of games. I think Overwatch 2 did it, they had another event, which is always fun, but it wasn't quite the same this year with all the battle pass stuff filtering through. Like the new themed like arcade modes are always fun, but you do it once or twice and that's okay. That's done. Oh, where are the
Yeah.
skins at? Oh, they're all expensive with real money. Okay, well, I guess I'm out.
I think it is worth mentioning too that I did want to say Fortnitemares this year absolutely sucked.
Why though?
Oh,
Like,
it was so lame.
wasn't it all fan based stuff? Like, I thought it was creator.
Maybe there was
That would be why it
one.
sucked.
There was one. Well, because if there was fan made like creator stuff that I didn't see or dive into, because like again, I'm not the kind of guy who plays Fortnite and really dabbles in the creator stuff.
Same, yeah.
They had like, I think they brought back the horde mode thing, or they just like pushed it to the forefront, because I know I've seen it before, and I've played with it before, but like compared to like last year, where everything that was like in the main game, like the little like those little like what were they called, the sideways, the sideways like bubbles, and then like the giants that showed up and all that stuff, like that actually played into this.
This is how I can tell you started playing this game way after me, because I'm like, when that stuff wasn't happening, that was great.
Well, even like way back, I remember like way back in like the first chapter, I guess, like, because I started playing Fortnite, it was like chapter 1 season 2, right? And that was like Fortnitemares was like pretty cool. It was just like they did all the Halloween theme. It was very simple, but like it was fun for the thing, because it was still pretty new, right? So it was just like everything was tricked out Halloween style.
When I have to participate, like the Fortnitemares stuff that came into the game, into like the main map, and then I had to do it, and I had to be like, "Bah, I'm gonna pew pew you." Ah, shit, something stabbed me.
Yeah, but like there was reward for it. Like the sideways weapons, I thought were cool.
I don't want to be rewarded for things I don't want to do, Jordan.
Well, then don't do it. Don't go into the friggin' sideways. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
No.
There's got to be a carrot.
What they did before you had to go in was like you would just go near an area and it would be happening. It wasn't that you had to go in anywhere. There used to be just little
the bubbles.
That's kind of what they did this year, I think. From the sounds of it.
Correcting me, Jordan.
I don't know. You're doing this.
There used to be little like rocks that they spawned from, and they'd just be on the normal map. So you'd like be running past a main area, and a rock would just start shooting.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it wasn't like
don't you mansplain my game to me, sir.
I didn't know you were just doing this.
Evil.
Yeah, because I remember like in the when I started playing, the first Fortnitemares thing was kind of just like they just put zombies on the map. It's just like it's like anywhere you went, there could just be like zombies, and you just had to kill them. They were easy to kill, and it was just like, oh, it was fun. There's little zombie modes, and sometimes people would work together to like kill like some I think you could activate like big horde modes, and then people could like work together to like finish it. But like, yeah, this one was just like there was a haunted house and another area that was like already in the game, but they just put like a scary girl in there, which admittedly I will admit, because like you have a quest to kill her, and I like went to the area and I wasn't expecting, because she just like runs up to you and just starts like meleeing you.
Yeah.
So like I just like walked in and just turned around and just like there she was, and it actually like genuinely scared the crap out of me. And then they did it
pummeled to death. Oh.
They put like the cabin from Evil Dead, and Ash was like an NPC.
Oh yeah, I knew about that.
But, like,
And also a purchasable skin. But like it's not like he doesn't really get involved in anything. You don't like do anything with him. It's just like he's just like there.
Sounds like they incorporated those zones in a way like what you were describing, Dana, where like they were just normal zones, and so you went into them, and then all of a sudden it's like the spooky atmosphere kicks in, and
that's kind of what they
out
did.
of household items.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did, pretty much. So it's like, I don't know. I felt like last year there was a little bit more thought put into it. It felt a little bit bigger, and it felt a little bit more like connected to like everything. This time around, because again, it's like a month-long thing, not even sometimes, right? Like,
but I felt like that about Halloween in general this year. Like I did, like even the schools didn't do anything major because the world is ending. The like everything, I was like, oh yeah, it's Halloween. Crap.
The Simpsons did a Death Note.
Yes, they did.
They
I
did a very big Death Note, yeah. But I kind of like that it wasn't like the event felt kind of natural to me too, right? Because they also tied it into the Chrome, and
which broke Google today. Sorry,
yeah, that was a fun side note. But yeah, so the one thing had you go near the reality tree to like a big rave thing that was going on to get a special power and all that stuff. That was kind of like a neat way to tie it into like the existing season themes.
Mhm.
Unlike the Star Wars event this week, where it's just like, hey, we got Star Wars things, go fight Darth Vader.
There is
Like there's a little more effort to weave it into the season pass and all that stuff. I liked it. And it was just more stuff to get experience. But
Yeah.
I'm also the newest Fortnite player of the three of us, so
Yeah.
I know nothing. Jon Snow, noob.
I think Jordan, you and I probably started playing around the same time, but I don't accept that from you because when I started here, I was like the Fortnite girl because no one else
Oh,
played
yeah.
Fortnite, and you made fun of me for playing Fortnite for like the majority of my time here. And now you're like, oh, I played Fortnite since season 1, blah 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 blah. chapter 1,
I
season
started season 2, and that was.
And then I showed
chapter
up and I was
1.
like, Fortnite's cool, and Jordan's like, you know
And-
what? It is cool. What?
I
Where's that P
never
button?
I never thought Fortnite wasn't like a good game. I just when I started playing it, I got way too into it and I like had to stop. Like
Whatever.
season 3 was okay, season 4
Whatever, Bjordy.
was okay, and then I fell off of it for a long time.
And teased others for enjoying it.
Yeah. You simps.
You did to me.
Well, you're
You did to me, kid.
Based, as the kids say.
I'm sorry. Who says
Anyway,
what?
that was Halloween.
I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. So tired.
Chris just dropped an F-bomb. What is
Twice
this
today.
life?
Twice
Is
today.
this the real life? Sorry.
I did right away when someone went to the dark content corners. But anyways,
It happens.
we'll move along here. One big story this week is the launch of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I still hate that it's called Modern Warfare 2 because we have that already. But it was the biggest launch in the series history, over $80 million opening weekend.
800 million.
800 million. Sorry, the note in our
Missing a zero.
document is missing a zero.
Oh, I was
It says-
typing things. Type.
Type.
Remember all those fingers? There was doop, 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 doop.
$80 million.
Was it also broken as hell was when it launched? Because I saw
No.
Dunkey do a
Consoles
video
were
about it,
fine.
and it looked like it was broken as hell.
Consoles, I think, were fine. There were some issues with NVIDIA drivers,
Mm-hmm.
where some of the newest drivers aren't approved yet for Call of Duty.
Yeah, Nvidia did an update and tanked everybody.
Oh,
And then there was chaos.
And then everybody on console realized that they bought a disc that was basically a coaster because the game wasn't on it.
But that wasn't
Effectively.
for all of them, I don't think.
I was
think
trying to
it
confirm that before it launched, and I can only really see it for PS5, definitely. But it'd be weird if they didn't do that for everybody, right? Like,
Correct. That would
'cause the
indeed be
PS5
weird.
disc could hold the entire contents of the game, unlike some other some Xbox games still need 2 discs, and some PS4 games still need 2 discs. It's just weird. Like it's a glorified DRM key at this point, which is just not what you want.
Well,
from
didn't they also like deactivate it after a while because they were kind of like it doesn't work? So,
This is not my department.
oh, no, I'm thinking of something else with Lenovo.
Like
Sorry,
literally every other game on the planet.
I think it might have been.
That's how they
I
all
might be.
go.
You know what? I'm thinking about Gotham Knights. Never mind, because it still had Lenovo for some fucking reason.
All right. If you say so.
What I didn't see actually was how much of those sales were on PlayStation platforms and how much of them were on Xbox, because
It makes
Activision
sense.
Blizzard is taking it or is being acquired by Xbox. So
But
curious to see how this impacts the series.
Wasn't COD like specifically a PlayStation exclusive, or am I thinking of Battlefield?
Maybe at some point, but they haven't been exclusive for a long time.
Okay, I could have swore there was
Because
some.
I haven't really played COD at all since the original Modern Warfare 2.
Mhm.
And I played that on Xbox. So that dates that game because once I got a PS3 I didn't touch my Xbox. So
Now, I don't
Oh,
know.
that happened with your PlayStation 5 as well.
Is this a true thing about COD too? Because I was looking at Penny Arcade today, and apparently the joke of the comic was that if you kill someone in Modern Warfare 2 online, it opens up their mic so you can like hear their like final words before they die.
That would be
No.
amazing.
And I was
This
like,
isn't 2004 anymore, man. Come on.
I was like, that has to be like, that would be the funniest damn thing I've ever like experienced in my life.
The game is broken. Where did my bullet go? That's like all I hear when something.
Yeah,
dies in my
but like
head.
they're just like slowly being like dragged into the abyss, and they're just like, "Can't be piece of shit."
I hate everything so very much. So
that's a
hate.
good strip.
That's a great. If that's real, yeah, I guess it is. I just looked it up. Rock paper shotgun. Warzone broadcasting your mic on death is thrilling, bleak, and very funny. Yeah, if you get killed in Call of Duty Warzone and you're not using push to talk, everyone nearby gets to briefly listen to your mic.
That's
Okay,
a weird design.
apparently it's been a
choice.
thing in Call of Duty games for years, but I've never noticed.
That's amazing.
That's so funny.
Amazing.
This is why I mute myself immediately when I boot up a game.
Yeah.
Mute my game. Or mute
I
my
mean-
controller and turn the static off just in case.
Yeah, like I don't know,
That's
like I guess I mean it's Call of Duty, so are we genuinely surprised that it sold 80 million in its opening weekend?
Yeah, I mean we shouldn't be. You kind of hope every year that like Vanguard had a lukewarm reception last year. A lot of divided folks on that one, but
Mm-hmm.
it's back to Modern
Well,
Warfare
I think-
2, and everyone loses their minds again.
What our news story said was that it beat the biggest movie this year.
That's
I think it was Maverick, Top Gun.
okay.
so-
Well,
Yeah,
Like it beat all of Top Gun, not just Top Gun's opening weekend.
I feel like that's not a fair comparison though, because like moviegoers versus like video game players, like it's two very different metrics. Like to go see a movie, you have to physically get up and go see a movie, whereas like
Fair.
and not to mention too, the price of going to a movie, although ludicrous, is significantly less than what you would pay for a game. So if every person paid roughly $90 Canadian for a AAA video game versus the, if say you just bought a ticket, like the like $15 to like $17 you'd pay for a movie ticket, like those metrics don't add up correctly.
yeah, it's the same thing. Like I've very picky with what I go to the movies for because it's so expensive for a 2-hour experience. But a game,
and to add to that too, like again, you're talking about Top Gun Maverick. It's a sequel to Top Gun, so it's a very specific audience already. Like Call of Duty is like super massive, not the studio.
still a bit of a niche market. But yeah,
I'm
it's
I'm not a Call of Duty fan, but that's
yeah,
I'm not either. I
done with
never
it. Like,
have been.
I'd be that guy on the voice chat who's like, "What the hell?" and then getting cut off in a violent passion.
Why
Like
am I bad
I'd be
at
the guy
this?
being laughed at.
I could never get into it. Like I was always like, because I grew up playing Halo, and Halo was like my like introduction to like the online multiplayer like FPS.
Yeah.
And then when I tried Call of Duty, it was just like, and not to be like, I know maybe I'm dating myself, but like sound like an old man by saying it was too fast. Like everything felt slippery. It just didn't feel like it had the same like kind of like nuance of control that Halo did. And then it didn't seem like fair because there was this weird system where like people who were like better than you, like the more like kills they got and the better they were doing throughout the game, they were getting rewarded with better weapons. So it's like it like actively like punished you for not being good at the game. Whereas like Halo always felt fair, right? You drop into a map, everyone has the same guns, and if you can get to a gun before someone else, then you get the gun. But then it respawns and you have a chance to get it again.
Yeah, it always bothered me with COD 2 is that by the time I realize I'm being shot at, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But if I'm shooting somebody, like they have enough time to spin around, size me up, and then take me out before they die. Like I did one prestige in Modern Warfare 2 because I had a bunch of friends who were playing, and I kind of got dragged into it. I enjoyed it well enough, but I didn't like love it. So I did one prestige, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm out because just didn't grab me again after that at all.
Maybe you forgot to get good.
Oh, damn it! I didn't try
Yeah,
that.
you could. Yeah, that wasn't a thing back then. Really, getting good wasn't really a thing.
Dark Souls wasn't a thing at that point at all, was it?
No,
Dark
and
Souls
if it
wasn't
was very, very like niche. Like
Very
nobody
niche,
knew
yeah.
about it.
But
The more you know.
But then there was talk too. What was it? Was it Phil Spector or was it the Activision CEO who was saying he wants to consider?
Are we trying to say Phil Spencer or
No,
is Phil Spector?
Spencer.
Are you talking Xbox guy? It's
Phil
definitely Spencer.
Spencer.
Progenitor in our chat is a dumbass.
Spectre
can say
is
that.
Okay, that's why he
I've met
Progenitor.
him. Ha.
Progenitor he just earwormed me because I was reading the
He's a
comment and then
PlayStation guy.
it just stuck in my brain.
PlayStation
Phil
guy.
Spencer,
He's
was he
trying.
the one? So he was the one who was saying that he wants to consider bringing Call of Duty to the Switch, or was it the Activision?
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know
it
if
was
he said
Spencer. It was Spencer.
He said
Phil Spector.
was-
I think Phil
was
Spector is a
it?
person though.
Says
I'm
Call of
sure
Duty
it is.
specifically will be available on PlayStation. I'd love to see it on the Switch. I'd love to see the game playable on many different screens. Our intent is to treat Call of Duty like Minecraft.
Yeah, and I saw some articles that were kind of saying that like bringing it to the Switch is like physically impossible because of like the size and like data requirements needed to keep that game like running at like a buttery smooth 60 FPS for how like
Butter.
precise it needs to be for all the people who play Call of Duty and frame rate count. So yeah, I guess. I mean, it's gotten other games to work on it. I know people will rake you over the coals for saying it, but like Doom works perfectly fine in 30 FPS. I didn't have a problem playing it. I thought it was fast and fun the whole time.
I think the point is when you add anything
that's
that's multiplayer. See, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably just be like, this is fine. Actually, the new AMD cards, what was it? It's in our news article, but one of the Valorant, I think it's like 700 and something frames per second.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure by that point your eye is physically incapable at that point. I surely. Right?
But
You know what?
computer says it's true.
I'll say like I'm definitely not the kind of guy who can genuinely tell when something's running at 60 F and 30, but like sometimes you can see it because I've been playing, like I said, I've been playing a lot of Phasmophobia on my like shitty little Surface Book 3 that's like not super designed for video games, and it runs like pretty okay on it. But then I was playing it at my cousin's place, and he just bought this like super like hyper high performance PC like specifically for gaming, and like so he can run like Overwatch 2 at like 4K at like freaking like 800 frames. And so I started playing Phasmophobia on his computer, and it's like the difference was like hyper noticeable. Like I was like, wow, so this is what this game is supposed to look like, huh?
Yeah, like side by side is one thing. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember when like the whole Xbox, PlayStation debacle happened. I managed to get one of each, and then I actually let someone I knew take my Xbox. So for a while I didn't have the Series X, and my ex-husband kept talking about like it's so good, blah blah blah, and people are saying like it's so great on PC. Fortnite is what I'm talking about, by the way. And I was like, okay guys, it's Fortnite, like it's a cartoon, it's fine. And then my son started playing.
Real.
My son started playing on my like gaming rig, which I had never used apparently. And I was like, oh shit, Fortnite's pretty, guys. Like,
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at there's all this smoke. Where'd this smoke come from? Like I'm like, what is happening? My mind
There's
is
ambient
slow.
inclusion and VSync. What
Yeah,
the
like,
freaking hell?
It's funny. Like I've been playing a little bit recently on the PS4 version when I've been streaming it because my PS4 is hooked on my streaming thing. And it's just easier. And normally I play on my PS5, and now I'm seeing what the PS4 version is like. I was playing on my PC this week, kind of just seeing how the new video card treats it.
Yeah.
And it still looks way better on the PS5, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting way off topic here, but it is a really nice looking game on the PS5.
I don't even know. Oh, we're talking about Call of Duty. Can we
Call of Duty
end
and
that
Xbox
conversation?
and
Can we
Phil
stop
Yeah,
that
Spencer
in
is like
relation
two-
in relation to the Switch. So yeah, like
Okay.
I could definitely see it not like being optimal on the Switch, because I think even Alex, our dear old Alex Hansiuk said that like because he reviewed I think he reviewed Overwatch
Apex.
and Apex on the Switch.
Yes.
And he said like they are not the way you want to. I think he
They
said
are
to me,
not-
well, because he was like the resident Overwatch guy for the longest
Esports,
time.
He's our
yeah.
And
Overwatch. He still
yeah,
is.
and
So
Pops
you
back
know
in,
the
just
guy.
be like, yo.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I got
And,
you.
like, 'cause I had not played. To this day, I still have not played Overwatch. So when it was like released on the Switch, I was like, oh, I'll play anything on Switch. Like, maybe this is the time I finally pick up Overwatch. And he kind of said, like, if you've never played Overwatch before, like you can probably play it on Switch and like have an okay time. But he's like, but if you played it anywhere else, like it will be a genuine downgrade.
Now I don't know because you guys, your main systems are different from mine. Like I'm Team Xbox, Jordan, your Team Nintendo, Chris, your Team PlayStation.
Well, and
Nintendo
but-
PlayStation.
Well, ish.
Yeah.
Nintendo PlayStation.
Yeah, but like for the big system, I don't count Nintendo as a big system. I'm sorry, I just don't. It's a baby.
But the two of them are the perfect match.
Anyway.
You have both. You're set.
Are they? All right,
Yeah.
and I've got all three and a
Yeah.
PC. I'm covered.
Well, there you
I've
go.
got the OLED. I've got the
How you
regular
gonna-
Switch,
how you
and I
gonna
have
talk
a
such
Switch
shit about the actual king of the mountain? Like Nintendo could release 2 failures after the Switch and still be like the king of the mountain.
You were saying, Dana?
I was just trying to give you guys credit for the shit you like. Fine, I take
Sorry.
it back. All your
No,
stuff
you
sucks.
called it a
Credit
baby
taken.
console. You said it wasn't a
Lame.
console. You shut up.
He's yelling. I'm gonna have to turn Jordan down later. Anyway, shit. What was I trying to say? Okay, so God damn it. Anyway, I don't know if it works the same for you guys, but me going from Xbox to Switch on Fortnite specifically, Jordan's still giggling. On Fortnite specifically, the A and the B buttons are reversed. So I don't know that the actual buttons are reversed, but what they do is reversed. So I have to have it in my hand to do it. But like when I'm trying to go back, it's forward, and like it's all backwards. So I couldn't switch to Fortnite
Yeah.
because I was messing it up hard.
Didn't or isn't that something you can change in the settings?
I'm sure it's a
was playing on
keybind you
Switch
can
this
fix.
summer.
Because I was
Yeah.
gonna say to Dana's point, like even just like the graphical difference for me, like when I play Fortnite on PS4 versus the Switch, like because I used to like playing it a lot on the Switch because it was the only game at the time that like incorporated the motion controls on controller, and it felt so good to play. And then once they brought it to every system now, like every system has gyroscopic aiming, or at least PlayStation version does.
It's terrifying.
It's like I'll play Fortnite if I'm just like lying in bed and I feel like playing Fortnite. But like when I'm like really like gearing up to like sit down and knock out a shit ton of quests,
Yeah.
like I'll go and play it on the PlayStation because
I'm
like
seriously like level 7. I need to get my shit together.
well and
The
yeah
quest packs out, so it's good.
to yeah, like just because like kind of like what you were saying, like graphically it's in 1080p, it runs at 60
Yeah.
frames, like it looks and feels so much better to play it than it does on the Switch. But yeah, to your point about the controller thing, like, so I don't know if people know this, it's a sort of a
Fucks me
fun
up.
fact about these controllers.
Nintendo hates me. What?
The reason that the A and B are reversed like this, whereas like on the Xbox, A is here and B is over here,
Yeah.
is because the Japanese read from right to left. So it would make sense that the A is over here and the B is down here because it's going from right to left.
Yes, but it's just it fucks my life up.
That's your fun
and
Nintendo
makes
fact.
me not want to
Hey,
live
Warner
anymore.
Bros.
So makes me
And
not
for,
want to live.
for anyone
anymore.
listening to the audio version of this, I held up a Joy-Con and showed everyone what was going on.
There was an
We're gonna
entire
just go to the video now.
process. There was an entire process there.
Yeah, we have fun.
It's I played
Fuck.
Fortnite on the Switch this summer when I was away from home on like cottage Ontario internet.
Oh, it's rough.
and-
Mm.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it's not how I prefer to play. Definitely, it was
Mhm.
more passable than I thought. I prefer like I ranked higher than I thought I would playing on that internet on that device.
Okay.
And
But-
well, and that's also one of the other shitty things I will say about the Switch, and I didn't realize this, is like how populated the Switch version is with bots. Because apparently, I looked into it. It's like apparently there's like certain priority levels for like populating servers with actual players that like goes like, so like PC ranks the highest, then it's like Xbox, and PlayStation, then it's like I think then it's Switch, and then it's like mobile, or I think mobile might even rank above the Switch. So it's like depending on your actual in-game level, not your like season level, like combined with like how it prioritizes where players actually go. So it's like you load up the Switch version, and it's either like you do really well because you're playing against bots, and they either like there's like no middle ground between bots that like couldn't hit the fucking broad side of a barn door, or like these hyper advanced Terminators who can just snipe you out in 2 shots. Like,
It's fine.
and when you lose Victory Royale to a bot, like nothing makes me more upset.
It's a good bot. That's a good bot.
I mean,
Sorry. What were
Anyway.
those sounds? I cannot,
it's a
cannot
good
identify.
bot. Yes, it was programmed to be very good.
I cannot identify what is happening.
I mean, you just
Anywho.
gotta prove the potential of the bots.
Yeah, exactly. This is
I
why
was
they're coming for
trying to
us.
find stats actually on what people are playing the game on. Something I was looking at recently because Square Enix just announced that they're shutting down their Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale in January.
Yeah.
And they were so devoutly committed to keeping that on mobile.
Mhm.
And I was looking into the stats. I think it was something like 9% of players for Fortnite played on mobile. And that's only Android because it's not available on iOS. 9% of the biggest game of that genre is mobile. And that's the market you're targeting with your very niche variation of that.
Yeah.
Very niche, very niche.
Listen,
Yeah, it's
I think Square Enix has proven to us very many times over the past year that they are very firmly on the ball.
yeah. Just I
When
don't
it
want to
comes
talk about the
where they're-
Parasite Eve thing. I'm too mad about that.
when they're where
Let's,
they're making their investments.
Let's move on to something else. Speaking of being
Yes.
mad, God of War is coming out next week, and Krydos is going to be all kinds of cranky all over everyone's TV screens. Reviews came out today. Our very own David gave it a 9.5.
Yeah, I can see
Which
that.
he was on the fence for a perfect 10. So let me tell you. He was on the fence.
A lot of people seem
There's-
to have been
if
on
you
the
scroll.
fence between that line because it's sitting at like 94 on Metacritic last I checked.
Yeah, I think like one person had like an 8. I was like, who are you?
What's the main criticism? I guess
Uh,
that like it's too much like the original or the first one.
The lower scores were saying like, yeah, it's a great game, but it's not much different. And although if you get into the accessibility, stay tuned. You will in our new issue. There's a entire interview about God of War accessibility and moving forward with it.
Wow.
They did a lot of really crazy things with it this time around. But outside of that, they say it's a very similar game. I know. Okay. I know that David himself, who is in our chat here, if he wants to chime in, he said it was a great game, beautiful. Some of the areas are very linear, but for a reason, like it's
But
leading
you know
to
what? But
something.
that
And then also that there were a few graphical issues, like hands through tables, yada yada yada.
it's weird to me. Sorry, and if to cut you off.
You're good.
Um.
No, that was it. I got to the end.
Okay.
We did
It's
it.
weird to me. It's weird to me that you would make a criticism about areas being too linear when like the game was initially designed to be linear and like I would say one of my biggest criticisms of like the last God of War was like this kind of like limp attempt to make it open world and add like side quests just to pad the game time when it just could have been a linear like experience. It's like
I
none
think
of the
he
levels
means the environments themselves.
yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. Even in the
Okay.
original 3, or even like I never
Okay.
played Ascension. Like they're designed to be like linear. Like you have like these like
Okay.
linear platform sections and these.
But
kinda,
if
like,
you
little,
wanna
like,
say
mini
that,
arenas.
If you want to say that, think of any other games that have evolved. Friggin' Zelda, that's evolved.
But-
Mario, that's evolved. God of War has evolved. It's
Well-
much more than it was in just accessibility. If you want to talk about that, everything
Okay.
is evolving.
Putting
it doesn't have to
accessibility
be the game it
aside,
was, however
in a
many
nice neat
times
little
ago.
box where it belongs,
Yeah.
because that's a very that is a very great feature. Like criticizing design things, like this is what I mean. Like especially this God of War that's very clearly trying to be much more like story driven and much more like emotionally
Mhm.
like emotional in its delivery, like
Mhm.
it narratively and like in terms of gameplay wise, you want like tight linear design, right? So like the fact that it kind of had an
I
open
don't
world to
think so.
me felt very shallow, because it's like there's not a lot to do. There's no real reason for it to have an open world, because it's sort of like it's like here's a half an open world that just gets you to the parts that are more or less designed like with linearity.
Didn't you just describe like every RPG on the planet, like every open world game?
No,
They're
because
designed to get you to the parts you need to get to.
no, because
That's how
again,
video
like
games work.
you look at a game like Elden Ring. Elden Ring's open world is designed with intention. It wants you to explore. It wants you to find these little nooks and crannies and find the secrets hidden within. When you just
I
have
think
like a
God
sort
of
of
War
like
is the same.
no, it
if
just
you
kind of
read-
just has a little hub world that you kind of like move around in to get to the points that actually move the story forward.
Yeah,
which
but
are
there's still
designed
stuff to
linearity.
find. There's stuff to search. There's stuff to like collect.
Not really.
No, I'm
It's
literally
like, it's just
telling
like
you.
armor bits.
Have you seen the game? 'Cause
I
I
played
have.
the first one, damn it. And if the criticism is
Have
if
you
this one is
seen
the
this
same, if it's the same damn game, then I think I'm not
Well,
far off the money.
That wasn't David's criticism. That was the people that gave it lower scores.
Well, I
David's
was saying
criticism
it was
was that there
David.
were some linear areas, and you're yelling about it. And like
Yeah.
I said, I've seen the game.
Well, it needs
Um,
linear areas. So David,
it-
shut up. No, I'm joking.
It needs to be linear. See, I just take your argument and I look at like where some of your favorite video games have come from, and they're completely different. But fuck,
Such as
look at Zelda, Matt.
First of all, Zelda is not one of my favorite video games, and I have a lot of things to say about Breath of the Wild.
Okay, but if your argument is
recording
like,
time
well,
here.
it doesn't run like, the ones for friggin' original Nintendo. Well, yeah, no, it's different.
No, okay. So
It's different.
so
It's a different
here,
game.
so let me make a point.
Hi, Chris. How's it
Kind
going?
of where to what my point was. Like, so Breath of the Wild, for example, Breath of the Wild, like it opened itself up in such a way that was really good to its gameplay. But
like you minimize him while he's talking, like you're just trying to minimize the argument.
just put him in the corner. He's mediating for now.
Set off like Zod in Superman 2, just like
You're the moderator right now. This is between me and Dana. No, like
Oh, we're
so
good.
like
Hey,
the Breath of the Wild like opened itself up like in a way that was like kind of like unique to its gameplay, but like it sacrificed itself in a lot of other areas in an attempt to like keep things connected to this idea of openness in its gameplay. So it's like you can't use weapons that you want because they break in 5 seconds, because the idea is that they want you to like experiment and use different things. And it's like, yeah, but it's like that's not how I want to play the game. Like the way the way you get like stamina and upgrades is like really like shallow and stupid. And then
Okay.
and then most specifically, the thing that kind of made Zelda like interesting throughout all of the games was really its story. And that's where Breath of the Wild sacrifices the most, because every area like has to feel exactly the same, because you can't like story wise too. Like if you go to any one area, the story plays out almost identical in like every single way, because you can't go to one place before another, right? So it's not like one story thing
Yeah.
can happen before another thing, right? So it's like the whole game in its narrative feels very shallow because of this attempt to make it like open, that you can just do anything at any one point.
okay.
Whereas like in, by comparison, God of War, which like has like a very clear, like tightly designed story, that it's very focused on its narrative, like to have sort of like just like a little hub world that like forces you to sort of like that, like I guess compels you to like explore, just to find like little armor upgrades and dumb RPG stuff that you don't really need, because that's not where the game's focus is. It's focused in the narrative, in the tight gameplay, like it and more so the combat.
But you're saying like these parts of the video game that they very clearly put in that a lot of people enjoy, those don't matter. Fuck them. No, they're part of the game,
Yes,
though. Like,
because it's not designed with intention. It's just designed to pad the gameplay. It's to pad the runtime. If this game was just purely focused in one direction, like this is why Last of Us 2 had a stupid open hub world for 2 seconds and it was fucking pointless, because after that the whole game goes back to being linear, because that's what it needs to be. It's a linear story with linear sections.
So if I can kind of chime in with, I haven't played.
Oh, you
I
wanna
haven't
get a
played
word
God
in?
of War. I'm trying to.
What?
No, let me just.
I'm
Let
bored.
me
There we go.
All right.
separate the screens.
All right.
Separate the screens. Pull
Your
you apart.
turn. We'll just
Time,
Chris in the
time,
middle.
Ding, ding,
Jordan,
ding.
get your ass back here.
Halftime.
We'll fight.
Yeah. So if I can chime
Keep
in,
in mind,
with
I could
some
just
outside
kick him off
perspective.
screen. Yeah,
You
yeah,
could do
yeah.
that too. So I haven't played the first God of War. For me, linearity in gaming is very subjective to the game itself and the player experiencing it. The biggest thing I encountered was like Final Fantasy 13. A lot of people said that was too linear. I'm like, well, they're running from their fugitives. They're not going to be like exploring in typical RPG style.
Mhm.
That was fine for me. A lot of people bounced off that. That's whatever. But when the review scores came out today, I was talking to some friends, and someone said, you should play the first God of War because it's a very linear game, not this open world faffing about type of stuff. And I think after Horizon, another game I admit I haven't played yet, earlier this year, like a lot of people were kind of put off by how open it was and how it was trying to guide people around. So from what I'm gathering from the reviews I've kind of sifted through today for God of War, it sounds like this is a nice change of pace for people who were kind of put off by that. Like that linearity or that like direction sounds like it works better in this one.
Yeah. That's that's kind of what I'm saying, because and also to your point too, like when you look at Final Fantasy 15, right? Like by comparison to 13, like 15, people were like, it's really good in the first half because it's like it feels like a completely different game. It's this weird like kind of like open world RPG thing that like Final Fantasy's never done before. But then like from the second half to the end of the game, you're literally just like running through a corridor till the end. It just doesn't feel
literally
like,
in one part. Yeah,
exactly. Like so it doesn't feel like the game that they were setting up like continues in a way that like it was actually like working for the series.
But like the stakes change in that part in the scenario too, right? Like when it's time to get down to business, like you're on the laser focused path. It's something I think people will never actually totally agree on in gaming. Like, what's too linear for one person is the right balance for somebody else, right? Like,
because I think because I'm just like when I hear that too, I know, and I know it'll probably be like tacky to hear it from me, but like I think of the Avengers. And it's like that was a game that like could have been really good had it been designed like with linearity and like with like narrative in mind, but they designed it to be this stupid like semi-open world like
live service,
exactly, and it just doesn't work. The whole thing just like wasn't fun or enjoyable in any way because like the game isn't designed.
The story mode was good enough, but the multiplayer stuff was kind of missed.
I can't get behind you complaining about a complaint. Like, I can't get behind.
Fair.
I can't.
Fair when you put it that way.
Listen, as a critic, you have to.
Yeah, I'm going to critic the shit out of you right now.
Every complaint that everyone has.
No, what you're saying seems so like it leaves no room for growth. You're saying, well, you can't complain about it because that's what was in the original game. I'm sorry. How many games have there been problems in the beginning? How many games have evolved from what they began as? Like, look at Fable, Dragon Age. The last version is completely different from the first version. Like, I'm not going to accept that.
But I will say,
Fable's not a great example.
In this instance, Fable's not a great example.
I love Fable 1, 2, and 3 hurt me bad. I enjoyed them, but they hurt me deeply.
In this particular example, when talking about God of War specifically, like as a series, like the way that I think, like, because there are different kinds of growth that like better a game in different ways, right? Like gameplay was never the issue with God of War. Like even in the originals, like it was so tightly designed as like the first of its kind. These like big big open like crazy fights against like 12 people, and it's very combo focused and stuff like that. Like, but where the game I think needed the growth was in the character development, in the storytelling. Not being so heavily reliant on, even though it was kind of the first to pioneer the QuickTime event, like this one I think handled it a lot better because it's not as like frequent in the battles, and that's where this game really grew, was making Kratos a more fleshed out character, giving him a lot more ethos and pathos, like delivering a way better story. So it's like those are the areas where growth was necessary, but like gameplay wise, it didn't need it. It's like because you don't fix what isn't broken.
I don't know if you've looked at any of the reviews though. Like everybody's pretty fucking happy with it. So
to be fair, also
I'm not surprised. Like I'm glad.
God of War's gameplay was a little broken because like that became the cliche for the QTE, right? Like that was the big kind of thing, like button mashing QTE, button mash QTE, repeat, type of thing.
Unless you ever played Ashura's Wrath, which is literally just QTE the game, and it totally fucking worked. It was so
that's
good.
Why when you lean into something, it usually gets a bit better.
It was so good. It was just so over the top. Well, I'm sorry, Dana. You struck a nerve with me, okay?
I'll a fight.
That's never happened.
I just
Literally
I-
never happened.
This game has been so hyped. Like,
Yeah.
our 2018 issue of the magazine was all dedicated to God of War, and the last one, and this one has been so hyped and so whatever. It's the whole point of this conversation, by the way, was for us to talk about how like people are calling
Yeah,
Game
where
of
the
the
fuck
Year.
did we go? Where am I?
You blacked out for a minute there. What happened?
Okay.
Bring the beard back. It's affecting your performance.
yeah, exactly. Oh god.
Anywho,
Sorry, what were we talking
the
about?
whole point of the conversation was for us to talk about how like, oh, I just made myself blurry again. Was to talk about how like people are calling Game of the Year, and people have been calling Game of the Year for Elden Ring for a friggin' year now.
Yeah.
So clearly we're arguing over like nothing because the whole world is exploding over this game right now.
Mhm.
So
See, the
think
Game of
it's
the Year thing,
unfair.
I was thinking about that. It's going to be interesting because Elden Ring is a multi-platform game, whereas God of War Ragnarok will only be on
Well,
PlayStation
and
for now.
I don't know.
So
It's,
that's gonna
it's,
that's
it's,
gonna affect people's perspectives on that one.
it's one of those
Mhm.
weird things to me too, because it almost does seem kind of unfair because God of War like just came out and Elden Ring has been like out and in the conversation for the better part of a year now. So like, I kind of I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be a top contender. Absolutely. I still feel in my heart of hearts that Elden Ring takes it just because like Elden Ring, not only being a really great like tightly designed game,
Mhm.
it was like a game that actually managed to like get a lot of people who typically weren't really into Souls games like into Souls games, and just like yeah, it's just like people to this day people are still kind of like talking about it and like writing
Guess-
articles about it.
Guess who just got Elden Ring? This girl. This girl. Up and over. Yeah, I just got the game. So
Nice.
we're gonna see. I've got some bigger fish to fry right now. So
Well, just
uh,
do what
I
I
can
told
talk
Chris
about
to
it.
do. Make your
Well,
character the last like worthless character that has like no stats, and just dump all your stats into strength and health and stamina, and that's like easy mode the game.
Also,
Just,
my big
like-
advice for starting Elden Ring is to ignore all the hardcore Souls people who were trying to tell you one thing because it does not work. Trust me.
I'm just saying, if you really want to run through the game easily, dump all your points into strength because you will
I'm
just
gonna
murk.
I'm just gonna talk to Brendan because he's like 12 hours into the game and like super high. Like, he found all the ways to cheat. So
Okay.
The
Maybe I'll do
dragon's a
that.
big thing.
maybe I'll
Yeah.
do that.
I
Just don't- yeah.
restarted recently because again, like I was building a character that was like mostly strength build, but then I was like putting points in magic, and like I got to a point where my character was like weirdly unbalanced. So I was just like, I just said, screw it, I'm just gonna start over and just go
I'm-
straight strength build.
Yeah.
And like when I want to play like after my second run, I'll do like a dex build and whatever, like and just experiment with all the different like builds.
I'm excited to see what gets nominated for Game of the Year this year
Yeah.
because I'm sorry, has anybody said anything other than Elden Ring up until this point?
I
Like,
can't honestly.
were there
think,
any other options?
I can't think
the
of a game that came out that like wasn't a remake or like an HD version or like a PS5 version.
See, one of the things too is that like my motivation for thinking about Game of the Year stuff was pretty much tanked after Elden Ring immediately because from the response, it was clear that that was going to win pretty much every audience vote,
Mhm.
just by the sheer volume
Mhm.
of just praise for it, which I didn't get. So I kind of stopped tracking a lot of it. We were thinking about it already in our group chats and stuff for the magazine. I'm not sure if we can say why, but
Because we're a magazine and we talk about video games.
yes.
Oh.
I was just like,
Spoiler alert,
I
welcome.
kind of dropped off though. Like my
No.
game of the year is like Kirby and the Forgotten Land because I just friggin' love how that was designed and the whole experience of playing that. And we're not going to get into
Jordan,
that because
leave.
you're not going to yuck my yum.
Go put your beard back on. Get out of
I have
here.
thoughts, but you know what?
finish
I'm glad
And-
you liked it. I'm
Well, we've
glad
got
you enjoyed it.
Progenitor saying in chat here too when he played Horizon
I
Forbidden
think
West.
you know what? At the very least, Chris,
Chris.
at the very least, we can both agree that the ending of Kirby was fucking badass.
And it was amazing. Yeah,
The ending was
that's
awesome.
part of
That-
that's part of why I comes to mind for me, right? Because like
You
it
know-
started out as a simple thing. It eased it eased into it, and by the end, my daughter was playing a bullet hell sequence with me.
Yeah,
And we were
it
just
was,
fine. Like,
it was so funny because
the
I thought
progression was fantastic.
it was so funny because I thought the exact same thing when I reviewed Splatoon, because like I was like Splatoon was like it's a solid game, but like when I reviewed it, as like I said, like it's literally just Splatoon 2 again. Like this game hasn't evolved at all. But like when I went through the story, the ending of that game was so rad. It was like ridiculously good. And I was like, why wasn't the rest of the game like this?
So I don't want two comments from the chat to get washed out here.
Yeah.
Janitor was I'm going to come to the second one first and say, you said Horizon for Game of the Year when you did the review. Haven't played Ragnarok. Have you changed your mind? You can get us in the comments for that one. And you also mentioned, for reference, in 2018 when God of War won Game of the Year, Marvel Spider-Man was also nominated, another PlayStation exclusive. And I still hold that's one of my favorite games of like the last generation. Like I would still hold like up to most of the other games since.
I would say like I don't think the exclusivity of anything is going to be a
No.
problem, because it's people like us
Well-
that nominate, that make the calls, that do whatever. So it's not just like,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, even last
Yeah, no,
last
I
year
wasn't even
too.
thinking about that exclusivity of it either, because that's just the way it
Yeah.
is. Xbox does not have exclusives. Nintendo
Yeah, 'cause-
has some niche ones that aren't going to get everybody, but they have a very strong following in their areas.
Didn't Dread get nominated for Game of the Year too last year?
The Game Awards?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know I was campaigning for it internally. But
What are we
here,
talking about?
I thought it
Metroid Dread.
Metroid Dread. I thought it did. I thought it was one of the few that actually got like, it was like the one like Nintendo game that got
I think we nominated it personally, like our
I
our
campaigned
side.
hard for that one. I love that freaking game.
Yeah. Oh God, I have to start thinking about that. Shit.
Yeah, it's that time.
Shit.
It Starbucks Christmas cups are here. Christmas is here.
I have
Yeah,
made
I think
good.
it was for Game of the Year. It was
For us or for like the Game Awards?
no, for the
Or,
Game
like-
Awards. It was
Okay,
for
I
Game of the
couldn't
Year,
remember what they nominated last year.
It was
yeah.
Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, and Resident
Deathloop.
Evil
I
Village.
forgot about
It takes
Deathloop.
two.
Yeah,
Did I just erase all of last year? Did I play games
yeah,
last
I think
year?
I think we did.
I'm playing more games right now than I've like reviewed since I
in my life.
I
Does
don't- I
anyone
was like,
not
I
have
will take-
huge gaping holes in their memory from the last 2.5 years?
It's it's been a blur. All my memories got replaced with just like clips of Animal Crossing being played.
All right. All right.
Just fast forward to those chapters of the old life there.
Yeah.
Anywho.
But
Now,
yeah,
I know Progenitor did play Elden Ring, but not extensively, and I don't
Mhm.
think he was as big of a lover of it as so many other people were. So yes, obviously he's saying God of War, but he was saying Horizon, so I guess God of War beats that. I'm trying to figure out like what is there, like five nominees, say? So we've got Elden Ring, probably God of War,
Mhm.
judging by this, maybe Horizon. I don't know, because we
Yeah.
like forgot about it. We were looking over some older games, and I was going through our past reviews. I'm like, oh shit, that was this year. I
see,
didn't know
that's the thing
that.
with Horizon. Horizon has a bad track record because the first game came out and it was immediately shadowed by Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And then it came out a week before Elden Ring. So the sequel.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's-
I think I was going through the list too, like of just like all the releases for this, because I was like genuinely trying to remember like when we were making our list and I was doing like my like nominations too. I was like, what even came out this year? Like I can't imagine like Arceus gets a Game of the Year nom. Like
Nintendo Game of the Year gets a nom for sure. General Game of the Year, I don't know.
like
Scarlet and Violet's another big X factor too, though. That's going to be a big.
yeah, that's true, but maybe that might. I feel like that's probably more likely to
Are
get
we
like
not
best
like
RPG
Pokemon
or something.
oversaturated? Like, I'm done.
I'm ready.
You know what?
I'm ready.
I
It's
think
time.
I think I'm more ready than I was. I actually recently replayed Pokemon Shield. Was a tiny bit cheesed to find out that because I remember when I played it the first time around, like one of the like for my character, you got like Leon's hat,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize that was like a time exclusive thing that
Oh,
was
yeah, it was.
part of the DLC, the first run of DLC. So I was really pissed off when I beat the game, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna put on my champion's hat, and I'm gonna make my character look like all awesome." And I couldn't do it.
Hey, Jordan,
but-
do you ever wear other hats? Just out of
I
curiosity.
hate that hat. The Leon's hat. I mean, I hate Leon's hat, so I don't really care. That's not a big.
I liked it because it has the crown under the
What just
brow. and It looked
happened?
really good.
I just
but
asked if he'd
you're
wear-
the champion.
What happened to Chris just now, though? I was like, "Do you ever wear a different hat?" And he went on a tangent about hating.
Stupid.
I hate this.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Chris.
I was trying to say I hate Leon's hat, and then you said that as I was saying that you asked him about his hat that he always wears. So I had to interrupt
don't
before he
get
went to
hats.
this length.
I thought
This
I
is
had.
what I was trying to prevent, Dana.
Oh, sweet.
There.
relief. Okay. Hey.
This one has a Katamari on it that spins.
Oh, I've seen that hat. Yeah, we're good. I'm caught up now.
Yes.
Willa?
Yeah. So, and like replaying Shield, I kind of like remembered like how much I did genuinely love it when I first played it. And I thought it was really good. I'm actually kind of sad now that like the Dynamax feature isn't coming back because that like still might be one of my favorite features in a Pokemon game. But I think like having played it now, I'm kind of like a little bit more like into Scarlet as a concept. Like I need to try it out.
Yeah,
least-
I'm ready for that one to drop, but
At the very least, as like the first game, because like again, like I'm still not super sold on Arceus, and I don't think I'll get it unless it goes like on drastically on sale. But
it was pretty
I'm
good.
into it.
But
Yeah.
if you didn't like Breath of the Wild after all, then maybe not.
I think
It's the Breath of the Wild for Pokemon. So, but then again, we'll see how you like Scarlet because I think they got some notes from Arceus.
yeah,
and they're
it looks like
making
it definitely looks like
better
an
forms,
improvement.
Scarlet.
What was the one that's what's his face just did? Zuby. It's not Pokemon, but it's like I'm pretty sure it's like a catch 'em all game. I gotta go find it because it looked like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
There was
not
Temtem, but that
Nexamon,
was
No, not Temtem. That was Preston.
Yeah.
I gotta find it. Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher.
oh
If
Okay.
That
you
says it
just
all.
like want to head over to the review, anybody listening, watching, hey, Taylor Swift is being advertised on our website. I need to play this game. It looks ridiculous, and I chose the best main image, and it's so good. It's so good. Like I just go look. I can't show you guys on here.
What-
Just go look.
what is that main image?
See?
Why?
I
Why?
ne- that main image alone means
This is a look.
I like it. Anyway,
Anyways,
Moving
yeah,
on.
this is a game of the year conversation we'll be having very soon. And
again,
often,
again,
I
and
feel.
again.
I have
we,
thoughts on the whole "what's a better game" thing, but
we've been,
let's save that.
I've been collecting our reviews for the year and like going through and all of our top scores for all of the things, not just games. So we're heading into that season. I got to break through Christmas and then head into New Year's. So
Yeah, it's
Nice.
coming. We're away on that Christmas creep officially.
we do a lot of crap, not like bad in crap, just like there's so much.
We do a lot of things.
So many things.
It's not crap quality.
It's not crap quality.
No, it's all good stuff. What's not good stuff, though, is our next story. Bit of a follow-up to our last episode. So the last time when we last spoke about this situation, all the details hadn't yet come to light regarding Helena Taylor and her employment status on Bayonetta 3. Since then, in the last 2 weeks, a lot has come to light. So yeah, reports suggested that she was not offered just 4,000 for the entire thing. It was 4,000 per session over multiple sessions. We don't need the exact numbers, but
Awkward
suffice
tackle.
to say, yeah, she misrepresented some details in those first stories, and then once these things were reported
But
on, she came
wait.
out with a video saying, "Well, yeah, but," and that was about the summary of the argument.
Yeah, but come on.
yeah,
guys.
there's a pretty big misdirection.
Hold on,
And then
can
she
I make
followed
you-
that up by doubling down on asking people to donate to charities instead of buying the game, and listed a bunch of charities, some of which are okay, and others included anti-abortion. I don't want to say charities because that sounds too benevolent. Funds,
schemes.
anti-abortion funds or schemes or
Schemes.
cults in some corners.
Cults. Let's call it a cult. The ones
Yeah.
around here are cults. Yeah, that's a good time. I believe. What did we say it was? Conversion. I believe somebody told me that there was like a conversion camp thing. So that's cool. So all
Yeah.
in all, she's a pretty stellar person, and not only wanted to like tear down the game, tear down the people around the game, lied about what happened. I mean, to be clear, like voice actors could still stand to be paid a little better. By the way, Kari's here.
What?
What? We're just messing up the stream
In
tonight.
spirit.
In spirit, literally spooky.
You saw
Jordan
you
is
saw the
I'm
also
chaos
sorry.
going on. Had to step in.
Jordan's in spirit right now too.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So yes, voice actors definitely can stand to be paid more, especially like we talked about this last podcast. The whole way that voice actors work, we need to work that out. We need to do better, but we also need to not, get on social media, yell about it, lie about it, and then lie some more, and then say ignore the game, donate to everything that's bad, especially as a woman. Lager.
Yes, that was a strange take of saying before that I've never quite seen someone shoot themselves in the foot this hard.
And like think that it was helping.
Yeah, and just double down and triple down on it. Like this is
Like I
next
feel like she
level.
made a GoFundMe for like a creepy porn habit. Like that's how bad that was. It was just so like, hey guys, I really need help with this. Could you give me
This
some money?
particular
What?
need,
Maybe that's a you problem. And now Jordan's gone right now, but I know Jordan was like, well, now I want to buy the game like 12 times just for fun. So that's good. It's good times. But yeah, I really do think that they need to come up with a better solution for voice actors. I mean, obviously I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but video games go on for ages. Do you pick a popular, how much did God of War make in the nothing yet because it's not out.
Well.
But Call of Duty made $800 million in one weekend. So I feel like we could probably do better than like $5,000 for a session, especially if they're not getting residuals, and people on TV do a little bit better.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's a shame that she went down in flames so hard on this one because there
Mm-hmm.
was a genuinely good topic of discussion that came out of it, and we're talking about it last week about the difference in pay rates for like the English version gets this much or whatever all the other languages it gets translated into and all of that stuff. Like it's a very complicated issue that needs to be addressed.
Whoa.
Just a bit of a
I'm breaking
debacle
the
in how
stream.
it was presented. What's happening?
I kicked
Okay,
Kari
we're
out.
back. Sorry.
You kicked Kari out.
I did.
Minor
He was in here
emergency.
twice, and I tried to kick out one, and it kicked them both out. Clearly, I don't know how to use the internet. We're fine. He'll be back.
What I
in a
miss?
minute. Wait, you didn't like take us with you on your adventure? We're just talking about how voice. No, shh.
Don't
Don't.
don't.
I hope Kari doesn't take that
Rhetorical.
personally and does come back.
We're talking about Helen Taylor being a shitty person.
Well, we kind of already covered
No.
that because you were gone.
Okay.
We covered the facts. Yeah.
And I
Okay.
said I said the things that you said about buying more games
Okay.
just for you.
Yeah, I was gonna
But,
say everyone goes spite buy that game.
Yeah,
Stick it to her
it's
stupid face.
yeah. But yeah, there definitely needs to be something better done. And obviously I don't have the answers, I don't have the solutions, I don't know how it all works, but if they can do it for TV and movies, I feel like they should be able to do it for games probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think like we said last time we talked about this, like especially in the fallout of everything that happened with her, or like everything that sort of came to light afterwards, like there certainly is a conversation to be had about better compensation for these like multi-million dollar like grossing video games, and possibly like giving the voice talent that make these games what they are like a slice of the pie after the fact, like they could just like
Sorry,
oh
not the
okay
pie thing.
Kahari's here, perfect.
He's been having some trouble.
Sorry.
He's been having some trouble.
Yeah, and, like I think there certainly is a conversation to be had about SAG-AFTRA maybe negotiating a better contract for voice actors, particularly when it comes to video games, and even because I don't know how it works for television and movies too, but like the fact that that someone who was sort of like who kind of like quickly became like the one of the bigger advocates for change in like in the compensation for voice actors turning out to be kind of a garbage person was not a very good look, I think.
But here's my question, and maybe I spaced out on something, but I don't really know much about these games. She was the voice of Bayonetta, correct?
Yeah, she was
Uh,
mostly one of her,
yeah.
I think, most prominent roles.
No, I know, but yes, this is where we're coming from, though. She was her
Yeah.
voice. But when
Yeah.
all of this like drama started happening, I thought they were like just starting to make a new game. I didn't realize the game was coming out. So
Oh, yeah,
how
no.
did we not put together that she was she wasn't being paid to be Bayonetta if the game was fucking done?
See,
I
when it was first announced that she was recast before all this other stuff came out, I think I saw that someone said she was featured in the original trailers. So I think some work was done at some point. And it's only been in the last like 2 months that it was announced that Jennifer Hale was in the role, and we hadn't seen any new footage for a while.
yeah.
This
Or
game's
wait,
got
am I
been-
talking about something different? Because in
'Cause-
all of this drama, I heard that she was offered to play a different voice, not play Bayonetta. That's what she
Yeah,
was being
right.
paid for, was to come
Well,
in
no.
and be a little random voice, not
I think because
the
that was the
voice.
so the initial pay that she was offered, she like didn't think it was high enough, despite being somewhere like closer to like what was it, like 15,000 or something. Like it was a pretty big number.
Yeah.
And then but she wanted to like to have like compensation for like sales after
Yeah.
the fact.
Mhm,
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then when they,
residuals and such.
yeah,
mhm.
and when they said no, and they would offer her like they would like a smaller portion for a smaller role in the game, she like
Mhm.
also turned that down too.
I'm a little surprised by that, actually. I think that actually was probably the most insulting part of it, though, is like, okay, so we've decided that we're not going to pay you what you want us to pay you, but we've got this tiny little like side role, you know.
See,
that you
but
can-
the
you
way
can make,
that
like a pittance. For.
But-
I don't understand. Like, if she's already after that much, why would she want to have? Why would she settle for a cameo role and then say, well, someone else
Well-
is actually playing the role that she has been playing for
Yeah.
over a decade?
but that
now?
wasn't what it was
Yeah.
for, is what I'm understanding now. Am I like completely making this
No,
up,
it was like
or
a
did I just
makeup.
like
It was sort of weird make good, which made no sense. Like I think that part of it.
when this all came out, it sounded like she was saying like that is what they offered her to play Bayonetta.
That's what I
the
mean.
main
So
character.
that was
That is what
so
she
she
said.
lied, and that essentially she basically lied.
Yeah, they weren't asking
by
her to
omission.
play. They were asking her to play
No.
something else.
Initially they
I'm
so
confused.
from the get-go they were like she was going to be given the role of Bayonetta. They gave her like a rate that was like pretty like fair in terms of like industry standard. She wanted more. They said
Don't
no.
they all? What?
And well, she wanted like residuals and she wanted like more for it, which again is
Yeah,
a fair is definitely a fair like conversation to be had about what like voice actors are being
Yeah.
offered in terms of compensation and like how much money these games make off the backs of their work, and they're not given anything on top of it. Like, yeah, that's definitely a conversation to be had. And she's not like, she wasn't necessarily wrong in wanting more, but yeah, she said no. She wanted
Jordan, stop
like,
hitting your desk.
Sorry.
You're editing this.
Pump.
She was
I don't even
she-
hide it anymore.
She was yeah, so she said no. They were gonna get Jennifer Hale instead, but I think like because of like her involvement with the game, I guess they wanted to keep her like attached to the project. So they said like, okay, well we'll offer you a smaller like rate for a smaller role. And
Okay,
then
so
she said
was
no.
originally asked. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be salty. Like if I wanted to be paid more money for the job that I'm doing right now, and CGM said no, but you could like be our secretary for like this much, I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
okay,
What's the point?
that's fair.
Yeah.
Like kindly fuck off. Wow,
The
so many
cameo
F-bombs
thing
today.
might have had something to do with some of the weird stuff going on in the game, because like in the
Yeah.
last trailer they released, there's like multiple Bayonettas.
That's true. Yeah.
I haven't played the games. I have the first two sitting on my table waiting to go.
The
But,
first one does involve time travel to a certain degree, so like it made sense. It does make sense,
So-
kind of.
Maybe they would have found some way to work that in with the cameo stuff,
Like
just
she could have been the
extrapolating here,
older
but-
Bayonetta, and then
Yeah.
Jennifer Hale would have
Something
been
like
like the
that.
new Bayonetta, the modern, like the present
Yeah.
Bayonetta.
Plus, this is her whole perspective too is coming from vastly over exaggerating how much the series is worth.
Mhm.
Because she's setting
Yeah.
it as like a $4.5 million franchise, and like the first one underperformed
Mhm.
fairly
Don't
by
they
a fair
all? What?
degree, and
Yeah.
God, and, like Nintendo was kind of hesitant to take on the second one and all this stuff. Like it's not as like it's successful. It has a niche, but it's not like it's not Call of Duty. It's one of the smaller exclusive Nintendo franchises. So
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
if
think
you're-
I was just looking. I was looking into it a little bit more just to clarify. So I think
Mhm.
initially they offered her $10,000. She said no. I think then they offered her 15,000. She said no, and that's when they sort of moved to replace her and said that they would give her $4,000 for like a fraction of the voice lines that they were going to like give her. So they still wanted her to like have a part in the
And
game.
isn't
but
the voice that it is now like
pretty
it's-
damn close. Like I was actually going to make that joke
no,
that like how we
not
didn't
that. I don't-
notice.
I don't know how she sounds. That's not
Initially.
it. But isn't sorry, I'm terrible with names. But isn't she like kind of a major
Jennifer
voice
Hale.
actress?
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Jennifer
Oh, I
Hale.
was
Yeah.
right
She's
with the name.
FemShep. She's
Yeah.
FemShep.
So like,
She's one of
So-
the bigger ones compared to like Troy Baker as like the
Right.
voice of video games.
yeah.
Nolan
Yeah.
North.
And
type.
you know,
And
that's
Nolan
the
North, yeah.
weird. That was the weird thing. That was the first thing that made me kind of like say, "Wait, do I smell smoke or do I see smoke here?" Because if I forgot her name right now, the Bayonetta actress,
Helena Taylor.
Helena. How can I forget
the
that?
Hale
So-
and Helena
Right.
are messing me up.
Right.
Yeah.
Turns down the role. Then Jennifer Hale takes it. Like FemShep takes that role, and I'm like, wait, there's no way that she would do that role for $4,000 for just a measly $4,000.
No, absolutely not.
Right. So it was already not like things just weren't adding up. And then when it was later came out that it was actually 4,000 per session, and she was looking at maybe 3 or 4 or multiple sessions, right? Then it would have made sense. But even then, I felt like maybe she just brain farted. Maybe she misinterpreted that it was just $4,000. But she should know.
But
working
then
in
she
the-
came back in a
Yeah.
tweet and said
Yeah.
those things. Like I
Yes, she
watched
did.
that whole thread where she was like,
Yeah.
"Well, here's how it happened," and everything underneath is so you lied.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody is like,
Well,
that is
Yeah.
not what you said. That is not the
Yeah.
same thing.
It's
Sure,
unfortunate.
yes, you still deserve more money. The game industry is shitty a lot of the time. But dude, calm yourself. And then charities and blah blah blah, you're terrible.
Right.
But anyway,
based
the
on what
point I
she
was trying to
said,
make,
yeah.
the point I was trying to make was Jennifer Hale, like just real quick. So Bayonetta 3, Overwatch 2, Return to Monkey Island, Metal Hellsinger, Guild Wars 2, Star Wars The Old Republic, Legacy of the Sith, Looney Tunes cartoons, Scooby-Doo, like No More Heroes 3, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Mass Effect Shepherd.
Yeah.
Shep-
That's-
Shepherd.
that's-
Yeah.
To-
Like that's
Absolutely,
not
man.
no, you're gonna let me finish this before I
Oh,
lose my
sorry,
damn
sorry,
mind.
sorry.
So those are not small, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
what did they offer Jennifer Hale that they weren't offering what the hell is her name? See?
Helena Taylor.
Helen
Yeah.
Taylor that they didn't
Well-
offer her. Like, do you think they offered Jennifer Hale more? Do you think they offered her the same? Like,
Mm.
she's not small. They didn't just pick some girl off
Right.
the street and pay her pennies.
to
So-
that point, and that's what I was going to say to, and also kind of to Kahari's point. So when I was talking to one of my friends about this initially when it happened, and we were kind of saying like, well, like yeah, if this was the offer, then why would she turn it down and Hale would take it? And
Mhm.
part of my thinking was like, well, she's a bigger voice actor. She probably has like tons of other roles lined up. So it's like if she's taking
Yeah.
just a $4,000 flat rate for this, she's going to have like the next role and the next role. So it all sort of like balances out. But
Yeah.
I just don't think that was the case. I think maybe they probably offered her the same, if not like maybe a little bit more
Must
for her to
have.
step into the role because from all accounts that I've read and sort of heard, like the offer that she was made was pretty much like in line with SAG-AFTRA standards, like
Yeah,
the union standard.
exactly.
Like despite the conversation and the argument that can like should be made about how like maybe it should be more, like it wasn't outside, it wasn't lower than industry standard.
Mhm.
Well, and even more so, I'm not going to compare like men and women in terms of acting, but just like caliber of actor. If you take like Brad Pitt and then like guy off random sitcom, they're going to be paid differently. And I'm looking at Helena Taylor's, like she hasn't worked since 2014. And
games,
if I
think she's been doing stuff
well,
on TV.
I'm looking at her as an actress, and there is nothing on IMDb past 2014.
Well,
So wait, yeah,
Mhm.
no, I'm mouthy today. But even looking at what she did do beforehand, so yeah, obviously there's Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2, and then there's Dragon Age Origins, which cool. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
Nice.
I don't
It's a
know
good game.
any of these other games. Oh, sorry. She was in The Sweetest Thing as Spinner number 2. So I feel they are not of the same caliber.
But
well,
sorry, Kahara,
But
if you want to say
what?
something.
well, all I was going to add was that I think based on what she said, when she basically decided like I'm done with this, I'm done with this anyway, I don't care, right? Let it go, like give the money to charity, buy another game, whatever. I think among one of the things she said was that she just wanted to get back to her work with the stage and be done with it, like to leave this junk behind and work on the stage. And I think that's really where she feels that she
Yeah, you want to know how much money
belongs
she's
and
making
such.
on this stage? My background
Oh,
is in
we don't
theater.
know-
I
we don't know
promise
that,
you, it's
but
not
I-
money.
Pardon?
But
British theater, though.
Yeah,
British
right,
theater.
But
What
I
I-
think she just considers that it's sort of like her pride rather than the money. It's more about like, well, I am an
she
actor.
also was
You know,
complaining that
classical
she can't
training,
pay
yeah.
her bills. She was
Well-
complaining that she can't pay rent.
Well,
And-
you think
Oh.
that she could that what she said was helping?
Yeah,
Oh.
right?
She pretty much burned her bridge.
Oh, and by the
burned a lot
way,
of bridges.
anti-abortion charities. Let's come back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
Well, all I was
She's
going
a
to say to you,
winning human
Dana,
being. No,
Okay,
sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
about like caliber of actors. What I mean, because I guess I don't.
Yeah.
It's the game industry. It's voice acting, and
Mhm.
I don't know if like because like I don't know that the inner workings of SAG-AFTRA as a union. So I don't really know if like someone like like Nolan North or like
Mhm.
is going to be paid more than someone like Helena Taylor. Like if there are industry standards and it's just like these are the rates and this is
I
what
would
you get.
imagine
Like
are like in most jobs there's level of experience, level of like your name will
true,
bring
but
something to
unions
it.
work differently, right? Like there's a certain degree of like
guess.
everything is fair kind of thing.
well, I mean, okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and like and she said in those videos too, like I spent X number of years training with so and so and so and so in this thing. So she's got more, I think, like formal, uptight. I don't want to say uptight, but like that kind of formal, high class theater
Yeah.
training than
Yeah,
most
no,
voice
theater
actors.
folk
do.
were hot mess. Theater
It's
folk
all-
think
That's
they're
not what
way
I'm
better than you,
saying.
but they do way more drugs than you. That's
love the
theater is a
theater,
mess.
but-
Theater is a mess.
I try to go to
But-
Stratford every year. I love theater, and but you know it's a different atmosphere though than voice acting, which sometimes is just like you've killed my
Somehow
father, prepare to
theater
die,
got me
grunts
into
and groans and
television,
stuff,
which got me into journalism. So figure that one out for me.
right?
Yeah, it's a
Um,
lovely hot mess. Which I guess her too. Theater into games into hated on Twitter. Welcome.
That's your
Welcome.
next step. right
Oh, I
there.
could do that. Let's go.
Career, it's not hard.
Let's go.
It's not hard.
I'll just retweet her charities and that's it. Dana's
Just
canceled.
Lose all
Just
moral
don't-
compass.
Just don't. Like,
Uh,
how do you think that? How does anybody think that's a good idea though? Like when the world is shitting on you because of something you said, you should definitely, absolutely, be like, you know
Yeah.
what's great? Not
Read
people
the
that are allowed to have
room.
abortions. What? Where did you think? You know what you should have done? Puppies. Look at these puppies. Donate to the puppies.
Yeah, donate to
to-
a puppy charity.
Like, or you
Yeah.
know, to the children that are currently alive and not being taken care of. Like, what
So-
the? Sorry. Right.
One of those tweets that someone mentioned that got dug up afterwards, or we were talking beforehand about how some things came up from older tweets. There's something she said in 2019. Oh God, she says, "Hey, Netta, say trans rights," and she replied, "Forgive me, I believe in
that
gentle
stupid
female power, not
waffling fucking-
saber rattling. I stand with anyone on the side of the angels, be they rich or poor, Jew or Muslim, black or white, a Trump supporter or a Sanders supporter, Brexiteer or a Remainer. Too much anger and division."
Hey,
So she's clearly
evil
given
is evil.
up.
Well, it's also the fact that she likes kind of like specifically used the word like female in this like waffling response to like trans
That's
rights
not a
and
good
trans
word
identity.
anymore.
Like, like if you're gonna make a response like that, yeah, like you could, maybe not like. 'cause
we're not going to dive down the trans
Well,
and abortion rabbit hole here. That's
I've also
we're
I've
gonna do
also
it.
heard I have also heard the argument that like that it's something that a lot of like TERFs kind of do is to like
Mhm.
try and like to like change their image and like make it seem like move around the idea of like female empowerment, or female this. It's like it's just another way of like again like creating that like trans exclusionary
Mhm.
Well,
feminism.
it's also a strange move considering that she says like she is Bayonetta, she's so core to the character, but she's also ignoring
I feel like we're
the
doing just
huge-
fine.
no, but she's also ignoring the huge impact the character has on the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Like she's a bit of an icon. in
She
that
is a
community,
fucking
the
queer
character.
icon, 100%.
So to come into this with being like, don't buy this game, it's about LGBT characters, support an anti-abortion charity and all these other things.
I'm sorry, what was that you said
Conversion
earlier,
camp.
Chris? Read the room. Like,
I said that.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I think you both
Exactly.
did, to be perfectly honest. Anywho, I feel we got our feelings out about that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
It's-
triggered, but I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's been a while,
Moving
3
on.
weeks on this topic. Yeah, it's been a real roller
Woof,
coaster.
yeah.
I'm curious what's going to happen this weekend because it seems like every weekend something comes out. Don't know
Almost
how
like
much
she has
more
a really
muck
bad
there is to pile,
publicist.
but-
Yeah, maybe she'll be smart and just stay out of the
Puppies.
conversation.
She's listening to this, and she will come at us with puppies, and
Oh,
it'll be
yeah.
great. But she'll
Well.
say, "I hate pit bulls," and I'll have to kill her because I love pit bulls.
One
Anyway.
of the charities she did recommend was something called Pets for Vets or something, which I mean, pet charities need help. That's one of the
Fine.
better ones she recommended.
Anyway,
wasn't all
moving
horseshit.
along because
The
this is
F
cancer.
Along.
Yes, this has gone on long enough. Kakari, what's up? Oh,
I
mic's
like-
off.
Oh, your mic's not on. Did I do that? What's happening? No, I didn't. His mic's not on.
Flip the mic. Flip the mic.
All right. Yes. All right.
Crushing
I'm
it.
here.
Same
I'm in
headphones don't work.
solidarity with Jordan here. Like we're doing we're rocking the JBLs, so
There
we're still
you
figuring
go.
this thing out. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
some
no.
dumb expensive headphones on. They're
Yeah.
good.
But they don't light up, you see.
Yeah.
No, they don't, but they're like $500 for I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Wow.
I wear them for podcast and that's it. I did not pay for them.
Nice.
Anyway, I'm not lights.
No. No, I'm just here. I'm just here to lend support today. I mean, of course, I was planning to come earlier, but unfortunately, we had some dinner plans, and
I like
So-
it better that you watched me and Jordan fight for a bit, and then you were like, "How do I get in here?"
yeah.
Like, he private messages me. He's like, "How do I get in?"
Well, I was
Uh,
actually on the
you can
YouTube
just
chat
yell if
going,
you
"Wait, they
want."
can't see anything that I'm typing right
Yes,
now."
we can. Yeah, we
Oh,
can.
Okay.
Melon does
Yeah.
show it. Yeah.
Comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, look, there's some of your old messages.
Well, there you go. Insert gif of popcorn, like eating popcorn.
Yeah, man. Also, I bought a lot of popcorn tonight, so I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Ah.
So. Yeah, not.
So yeah.
I mean, do we have time to talk about the other garbage person who's been dominating social media?
You guys
I
good?
don't know. But we might have time, but it's going to cost you $8.
Well, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.
$8 a month to hear us bag on Elon Musk.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. I gotta do something.
Oh god. What is she getting?
Oh, that's true.
A giant blue bird.
I gotta be blue for this.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I called it. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
about
how
the
do
rest to
I
say about
accept my
Elon Musk thing in
headset?
5 minutes.
No, okay.
Yeah, yours is blue right now, anyway.
Yeah.
You guys are
Yeah,
both
good
blue right
enough.
now.
Good
Oh,
enough.
it changed.
Hold on.
We're doing it. Jordan's like in software.
Keep
You guys just
talking.
want
Yeah,
to
okay.
be me. You guys just want to be me. It's fine.
Can I change my settings?
I have some other blue things in the room. Look, see the blue, man. It makes me blurry as shit.
Yeah.
My eyes aren't as pretty as they were a minute ago.
Oh, I can't do anything. Yeah, no, Elon's reign on Twitter has begun, and it's is about as bad of a dumpster fire as most people thought it was going to be. It's talking about making the blue check thing a subscriber feature for $20 a month.
Yeah.
Until Stephen King called him out, and then he was like, "Okay, what about $8?" So I guess Stephen King is the bargaining table now.
Thank God.
That's the
for Stephen
line.
King.
That's the line. Hold on. I
Yeah.
gotta find something. I'm not as mad about this as everyone else, but
Yeah, and then we saw that this was on Monday after he took control.
Mm.
There was a poll from the Network Contagion Research Institute that use of the N-word had increased 500% in the 12 hours after he took power.
And that was
like-
just from the rappers.
Yeah, it was just for them being used as evidence.
I am not
in-
going to jump in on that part of the
Hey,
conversation.
Yeah.
Just looking
That was
over
actually
here.
one of
my
the-
race card right now.
Thank you.
No.
We needed somebody to, and it couldn't be any of us.
There was a great
So-
cartoon someone drew of there's like the Twitter birds in a bird cage, and Elon's opening the cage and going, "Go ahead, say the N-word." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like that's the whole
Seriously.
reason why you bought the site, is to let people.
I
do
feel
that.
like this is
cool,
a
and-
very closed down version of like what happened when Donald Trump took over. Just like
Yeah.
shit. All of the shitty people were like, "Oh, we're cool now," but
Yeah.
I can't. That's all I've got.
Sup-
like that. That's not
supposed-
great. The
like-
the blue checkmark thing, I don't give a fuck about. Like, anyway.
Well,
go
I
ahead.
mean, because it's like, yeah, because apparently, supposedly, Musk
Mhm.
is saying that they still haven't made any changes to content moderation. That like
Mhm.
they are going to develop a panel or whatnot. I am not particularly confident on that because again, like it definitely you see the sort of like mindset that people have already adopted that like
Mhm.
because Musk,
Yeah.
who has been a very like shitty person in the past, you
Mhm.
know, who single-handedly solved the Ukrainian war by basically saying, "Hey, why don't you just concede to Russia? That's a good idea."
I think what you're talking about right now, I think I have the tweet
Yeah.
here. I'm going through some of them. It says
And-
Twitter will be forming a content moderation council with widely diverse viewpoints. No major content decisions or account reinstatements will happen before that council convenes.
So,
Yeah,
So
okay.
like they're
but
Is there-
granted, but as CEO now, as someone who like is this kind of like essentially a supervillain, like what that necessarily means going forward, I don't know, and I don't have a lot of confidence in because again, he can always just like the panel can convene, but then he can sort of make final decisions.
yeah.
And it's just like the thing that like again like that worries me is like how much this has kind of like emboldened people to be their worst selves
Yeah.
because he's basically saying, hey guys, like my plan was to come here and open up the doors for everybody because free speech is free speech and you should be able to say whatever you want, and Twitter has become this big problem and I'm gonna fix it.
Mhm.
Like it just the
and
precedent.
that's what it was. It just let everybody come out and be
Yeah.
their worst selves because they were
That's
like, "Oh, this guy's cool with that." And
Exactly my point.
I don't
yeah,
know
like
what it's gonna look like when he does like take the reins and start taking over. Yes, he has said free speech, yada yada. Maybe he won't be the worst human. Also, I just scrolled past his Halloween costume. I'm trying to find this friggin' tweet, but I'm never gonna find it. But
And-
when
and-
they were
and-
complaining about the there's a whole thread, maybe it's that. They were complaining about the check mark, the paying for it.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are like rude that we have to pay for it. B the blue check mark is saying like you are who you say you are. So they're worried
Mhm.
about that. I'm sure there will be a process that there can't be 47 like, you know. But fine,
Mhm.
whatever.
But
but-
that's part of the thing that worries me. Sorry, Dina.
Good.
Is that because I feel like all of us at one point at least have been fooled by like fake accounts that present themselves legitimately.
Mhm.
So like if those accounts are able to just purchase a blue check mark and then start acting in bad faith, like that,
Mhm.
like that is a legitimate problem that like hopefully is moderated and fixed, but I personally can't see
Let me
how,
go through
because if
this thread
anyone-
then.
okay.
Yeah.
So it starts off with Twitter's current lords and peasants system for who doesn't have a blue check mark is bullshit. Power to the people. Blue for $8 a month. Okay. He said price adjusted by country,
Notes here.
proportionate to purchasing power parity. It says you will get, with this check mark, priority in replies, mention, and search, which means the people that pay for it are going to get to talk the most, which is essential to defeat spam or scams. Ability to post longer videos and audio, half as many ads. Paywall bypass for publishers willing to work with them. But it says that it will give Twitter a revenue stream to reward content creators. So that's kind of interesting. That's something that could be
Well,
something
and
someday.
Twitter already sort of has most of those features in Twitter Blue. That is like a paid thing you can get that gives you pretty much
we
all of
kinda
that.
already have that. So why are we so
But-
mad?
Because a lot of people, number one, like I don't know, like how the actual mass adoption of Twitter Blue, like as a subscription, and I think again, like a lot of people are, annoyed by it because like in order to get like account verification with the check mark, like you had to be of a certain size and like have a certain like degree of like following behind you, like that you could essentially like prove who you are.
Being
And this
verified's hard. We've been trying for
this-
ages.
That's
Yeah,
what I mean.
exactly.
So like this idea that anyone can just pay for it now, like I think that like that's it. Like like a lot of content creators have said, it's gonna like as much as it's not a terrible idea, it's also going to open up the door to like the possibility of a lot of spam accounts and a lot of duplicate accounts, presenting themselves as legitimate
Well, that's
accounts.
the other thing that I wanted to get to.
Okay.
He said there's going to be a secondary tag below the name for somebody who's a public figure. That's already the case for politicians. But so you'll have like journalist tags, you'll have
Mhm.
whatever. I don't know exactly what they are. So for anybody that is somebody significant, it doesn't look like you'll be able to do that. But anybody could take my name and my picture. But they already do that on Facebook. Like, how
Yeah.
many people have you had add you? I'm so tired of hearing my Facebook was hacked. No, that's not what fucking happened. They took
You
your
let someone in.
picture and your name. No, it's not even that. They just create a new account with your
Mm.
stuff on it. Like, you're not
Yeah.
hacked. They
Yeah.
just looked at
It's
you.
a separate account.
There's
So,
a few
I
different
mean,
strains. that
People
go around.
already do that.
Yeah, and I guess like that's the thing too, right? Because it's like maybe if that's the case for like bigger people, then like that's good. But then like smaller creators aren't gonna necessarily maybe have those same protections because
Yeah.
they're not as known,
Well,
but they're
'cause
still
right now,
subject to like
if-
abuse.
If your
Mhm.
outlet is verified, so if CG Mag got verified, which somebody help, or maybe don't now, I don't know.
No, we don't now. Yeah.
Yeah, if
It's
we got
expense now.
verified, if we got verified, then all of you would be able to get verified, and myself. and
Well, sure,
Brandon.
but I'm not going to pay $8 a month to use Twitter because
No,
it's a
but that's-
fucking
I'm
hellish
just-
landscape I don't want to be a part of. And
I'm just telling you how it works right now. Nobody's
Sure.
talking about paying $8 a month. I'm saying it's really hard to individually get verified. Even it's hard to as an
Oh,
outlet.
yeah.
Like, we meet all the criteria, every last one, and it's just not working.
yeah,
We don't know why.
So
And there's nobody to talk to either.
yeah. So the question I've got is that this to me this looks like Twitter's going to become a trash fire very quickly. So where do all the sane people go? Like where is there like where's the life preserver and what's the
I
service
know,
what's the
I
service
mean-
is going to take over?
you just don't use Twitter anymore, pretty much.
Yeah, I personally I'm okay with just leaving Twitter altogether.
like,
'cause
the-
I
like,
don't
the
want
thing's
to
gonna
be
happen is,
supporting what's going on.
Yeah, like so many people are going to leave. The ones that have like the moral compass to leave and like not be associated with this
Mhm.
guy.
Yeah.
But then it's just going to become that much more of an echo chamber. When it already has like a pre-established base too, right? Like you're just gonna like he's just gonna turn it into like a in one regard, turn it into like an army of people just kind of enabled by. Yeah,
Yeah, like
I
I'm
lost
wondering
the
is,
thread there, but
are they going to march on the Capitol? Like, we've already seen it once.
Yeah, like I
Right?
feel like this is just internet Trump, like
Yeah.
This
who
is-
also interneted in poorly.
And the thing about Twitter, like even with like a subscription service that theoretically would be giving a revenue stream to the company, like
Mhm.
Twitter as a business is dependent on like user growth. And I think it's like something like over the past like 8 to 10 years.
Mhm.
Like you can look, like you can find like charts for this. Like it has basically just been stagnant. Like Twitter has
Yeah.
seen no growth. So even with a subscription service, it's still like, that's assuming that every single person that's on Twitter now is going to pay for like a
Mhm.
verified account theoretically.
Mhm.
Um
Good luck with that one.
it's like, it's just like, it's not a solvent business. Like the only way
Right.
that it sort of survives is by, because now it's not making it's not making money as a business by getting new users on the site. So now it
Mhm.
has to sort of like find other ways to make the users that are there engage with each other. So
Right.
like the fact that it's become such a toxic, hellish landscape is
Yeah.
due in large part because of that. But it's like
Yeah.
now with people acting so much worse because there's new leadership and they feel like they have the freedom to do this now.
Mhm.
Like Chris said, it's like it's the kind of thing. There's no. It doesn't seem like there's any growth for this. Like it's just
Right.
gonna crash and burn because either people are just gonna leave, like I did, or the people that are on there are just gonna make the place so toxic that it's gonna either just like force people off, or like advertisers are not gonna want to associate with Twitter and like put ads to the people who are there because it's just feel like a dumpster fire. So it's
Yeah.
like. It feels to
Yeah,
me like the
and-
death bell is ringing for Twitter now.
Yeah.
Well, and like not to mention that like the whole process of being acquired by him is just destroying their finances. There's
Mhm.
a thing in the New York Times on the 1st talking about their debts and the operation costs and all this stuff. Jason Schreier actually retweeted it and said, personally, I don't think you should be able to buy a company with money you don't have and need to borrow from elsewhere, which then becomes debt belonging to the company you just bought. So he's buying money or borrowing money to buy the thing, and then that debt of his becomes the company's debt. And now he's also laying off half the company from what it
Yeah.
sounds like,
Mhm.
between the executive
Yeah.
boards he's already announced he's firing, and
Didn't he
reports
pretty
of
much
even more
can
coming.
like the entire like board of directors essentially? Like he just fired everybody and like he's kind of like the solitary guy in charge.
Yeah,
right now?
he is the board now.
Totally
So-
not a
the board.
totalitarian move at all.
Yeah.
That's not a dictatorship at all.
I know I saw some people rushing to co-host, I think it's called. Whatever that is. So
Mhm.
There's a few
Same.
alternatives. I've seen some people go into Substack, which is more like a newsletter system.
Yeah. I mean,
I
there's
think
we're going
direct
back to
one.
like just text messages.
We're
There's
going back to
this
smoke
is.
signals at this point. Yeah.
I don't know if any of
Um,
you guys have seen that thing.
Morse code.
It's like it's been circulating like TikTok and social media stuff. Like that clip I think from like a couple of years ago of Bo Burnham talking about how like the whole like game works and how like the I guess the generation after us, I guess, but essentially Zoomers, like are essentially just like they're the product, right? Because like companies, he made this really good point about how like back in the day we used to colonize land, and that's how like you basically made money by like just like moving into a place and establishing like a society, and then like once we colonized the entire earth, there was nowhere left to move. So
Mhm.
basically, like companies just started moving into people's attention, right? Like everything is like is attention grabbing. So like the amount of time you can be spent looking at your phone is time they could be like advertising to you and gathering information to how they could sell product to you. So
Right.
like it just feels like now it's gotten to such a point where like because that is the business. It's how can we get people's attention, how we get people's eyes, and young people especially are so susceptible to it. I feel like we are the last lucky generation that like kind of got in on the tail end of social media, so we like have
Yeah.
the good sense to be able to break away from it, but like
Right.
younger people don't. And
Mhm.
it's getting so egregious to the point where like I didn't know what that whole Be Real thing was. I don't know if you guys heard of the app Be Real. I made
No.
fun of my
I
I
haven't,
was like I was kind of
I hate it
teasing my
already.
cousin. I was kind of teasing my cousin about it, and she got really snippy about it, which said a lot about like again like the whole game of the like generation prior to us, where like it's basically an app that like prompts you every day, and you have like a half an hour window to just like snap a picture of yourself being real in the moment. And I was kind of like, do you not kind of see the hypocrisy of that, because an app is forcing you to quote unquote be real, and instead of just like living in the moment, you're like posting it on another form of social media? Like, does that not seem fucking crazy to you?
Yeah,
but
I kind of hate selfies sometimes because I feel like I'm being inauthentic.
It's what I mean. Like,
but they're saying that's real.
But this is what I'm saying. It's just like it's another form of how can we get attention? How can we get people to be like looking at their screens and quote unquote engaging, right? And you're essentially forcing people, prompting them to live this idea of being real, being in the moment, when you're not. You're just it's more presentation for social media. And it's like, I don't know. It maybe I'm just like an old man cynic now, and I'm saying like the only way that seems to make sense to me is just get off of it. It all has to stop, because it's like this is all part of the economy now. Is like is just being constantly connected, constantly looking at your phone, constantly being sold something, like, because this thing is always listening and always gathering information about you.
Yeah.
Well, and then Bo Burnham also did, like, I think that probably fed into that "Welcome to the Internet" song of Inside.
That was on point. That's
the gist of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always the plan to put the world in your hand. Yeah.
So I can't see this. This really just seems to me like if this goes in the direction that it's going, and you know what, like, God willing, or whatever.
Sorry. While we're on this, something just came across my Twitter. Elon Musk, under financial pressure, pushes to make money from Twitter. The quote with this tweet is, "Mr. Musk and his advisors have discussed adding paid direct messages, which would let users send private messages to high-profile users." Sounds like a super efficient way to get celebrities to abandon your platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
to call Scarlett Johansson a C
like
word.
this is the oh Jesus.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.
The
Larson
cameo
on that. Can you imagine all the message people would pay to send Brie Larson, because they certainly
Put
just
it this
didn't
way,
like her performance in
But look
Captain
at what
Marvel.
just came out of your mouth.
Yeah.
The first two people we're worried about are women, and that's
yeah,
brutal.
no,
Like,
100%.
it's an unsafe place.
People of color, trans people, LGBTQ plus, like all those people are going to be at complete risk.
So yeah, exactly. Here's
I'm not important,
here's the brilliant
and if
business strategy.
Yeah.
You're going to let the toxic people come back on Twitter. You're gonna let the racists and the misogynists and all those other people back on. It's Elon Musk. We know we're ahead of this. But if you want to make money off it, charge people to turn off their DMs so that no one can send you. That's going to be the thing.
That would be.
I'm going to populate this with. I'm going to populate the ocean with sharks.
Honestly,
and I'm going to pay you to get a cage to be safe.
To have a cage, yeah.
Twitter is probably wearing the least active in terms of like anything personal. That's pretty much work and like me saying dumb shit. But if you look on Instagram, there's photos of me and photos of the things I'm doing. My Facebook even, which is like locked down in private because that's got like my family on it. I have like a locked down. Actually, I have a locked down Instagram too that you can only see like my picture, and yeah, no, I get some interesting things on there, completely unsolicited. I don't do anything like, I'm all for a good, like, I look good pic, but I don't even really do that. So I can't imagine the women that do matter, the people that have thousands of followers because they hate women. Like, there are people that will just follow women because they hate them, and that's among many other things, not just women. But it's scary to think that that's what's going to happen. They're going to be able to pay money to, again, I'm not important, but they're going to pay money to be able to say whatever they want directly to me, and I can't walk away from that.
And like take a look at like publications like Kotaku. Every single article they post is just like a stream of replies hating on them for existing because of things they've said years ago. It doesn't even matter if the article is related to whatever. They just become a target. That's all they are now, and like that's all the writers there.
And that's like something that's, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say like even it becomes a forum for hatred to like that's like not even related to the thing. Like I was saying before, going back to Brie Larson. Like I think it was like Kotaku or something posted an article about like about like the like, the like idea that like, oh, like Brie Larson was in a commercial for Metroid Dread. Does that mean, like, is there a possibility she might be the in line for? And this was like the last little like thought at the end of the article was like, is this open the door for a possibility that she might be considered for Samus in a live action movie, or who knows? And it's like the whole reply of like the link to that article was just like vile toxicity towards Brie Larson for like.
Well, how about this? When I did TIFF, like, you guys know my Twitter, I have like 200 followers. Woo! Pretty big deal. I think like 8 of them are my mom. It's fine. But when I did TIFF, poor Brendan had to deal with me one night. I was just in tears. And I should develop a thicker skin, but also this sucked. So I posted my Anna Kendrick interview, which you guys know.
Can I stop you there for a second?
Yeah.
No, you should not have to develop a fucking thicker skin. People should not be shitty on the internet for no fucking reason.
That's fair.
You are not the
That's
problem,
fair.
Dana.
Well, thank you. But so I put up my Anna Kendrick interview that I was way too excited about. The first thing that happened on TikTok was somebody telling me it was shit. I asked a shit question and she was struggling to answer me. Okay, cool.
Thanks for
Good
the feedback.
talk. And then I posted, I can't even remember what it is. I ended up having to delete it off Twitter. Something about what I was doing, and pardon the vulgarity, but some guy repeatedly was posting really lewd photos and comments like, "Show us your pussy." So
Classy.
yeah, that was not a good day for me. So I
Fucking
had to. I'm pretty vulgar myself, but like these were like accomplishments, things I was proud of, and that's what was under them. And I couldn't even delete them. You can hide them, which means when I go back, I will still have to look at that. So I can't imagine what's going to happen when you give people the power to say whatever they want to whoever they want, whenever they want. Because you know what? Unfortunately, this is with me 24/7. This is the last thing I look at before I go to bed and the first thing I look at when I wake up in the morning. And that's the shit I've got to wake up to. Not a
And
good time.
all of this has happened before this regime change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better in this regard. It's only going to get worse in terms of who has access to it and all those other features that you just mentioned too. It's just
Also, why can't I delete people's shit?
yeah, that should
you
like,
should be able to delete comments. I don't
and that's
understand why.
that's the kind of content that's not going to get added now. Like that's definitely not going to be something that they'll listen to.
Well, if they
they'll
want,
charge $20 a
if
month
they
for
want,
it.
sure, cool. If Twitter needs to make money, charge money to do the good things, not the bad things.
But this is a guy. I mean, look at his records. We don't need to go into all the politics of it, but like this guy does not have the track record to make those kinds of decisions, nor the maturity. Because people started grumbling about the $20 for the verification thing, and he starts sharing memes about being poor about it. That like read the room. You're a billionaire. You're one of the richest guys in the world.
Can we make it a drinking game? Every time one of us has to say read the room.
There's just not a lot of room reading in the world these days. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's frustrating. It's like whether you like the platform or not, it's just going to amplify certain problems that are just started to make a foothold against, right? Like we just started to get a bit of a toehold in some of these areas, and it's just going to roll us back 10 years. If not more.
And then some,
Yeah, I mean, again, like hopefully it doesn't, right? Maybe he makes good on all the promises that he's making about Twitter, and being reviewed, and the paid verification system works, and it then again, I like that, like just because the thought just popped into my head that if it does work and Twitter has a revenue stream and it doesn't need to be relying on ads, then it doesn't necessarily need to be as like focused on moderation, because that's like 90% of the reason why Twitter moderates itself as heavily as it does, because it doesn't want to lose ad revenue from shitty, toxic racists and transphobes. Like, so if there's revenue coming in internally, then there's probably less incentive to moderate and like get more people who can like work under the guise that they can just say whatever the hell they want. There'll be no consequences. Because I mean, I know 2 guys who kind of are like those
5
shitty
guys.
people, and burgers and fries.
burgers.
And that's
I
kind of
don't
like when we were talking about this, and they kind of like said like initially that like Twitter was too heavily moderated, and it's a problem that Twitter moderates itself like it does because they operate under this idea that freedom of speech means there's number one, they don't actually fundamentally understand what freedom of speech is, and they think that like freedom of speech should mean freedom from consequence, and it's like, oh, getting punished for saying shitty things online is like a bad thing, and it's not fair. And
You notice that the only people
Mhm.
that are ever complaining about freedom of speech are people that want to spew hate. I've never had a problem with freedom of
Yeah.
speech, and I do say shitty things. So, like, how
And it's
awful do you have to be
it,
to have
it's
that
funny.
much of a problem everywhere you go?
It's funny that they're
Kari's
they're
just
also
laughing at me.
I'm just thinking of a friend of mine. That's all.
How, like, how awful
Yeah.
do you have to be for that to be a problem? And that's the same. That's how I feel about people like they have your information. I'm like, I don't care. Sucks to be
Yeah.
them. I'm fucking weird. Like,
well, it's like
Yeah.
it's like you know, the people who cry the most about freedom of speech is as it pertains to like them not being able to say shitty things, like also aren't around when like actual like instances of, you know, genuine suppression are happening, you know, cough, QP workers, cough, like, you know, where's the freedom fucking convoy now?
Yeah, exactly.
I
Not that.
had
Oh, not that
fucking
freedom.
conventions
Yeah.
in the building next door to me. Thank you very much. I'm not kidding.
Jeez.
This
Sorry.
place is terrifying, and I get to leave this building alone today.
I'm so sorry, Data.
Jeez.
I'm gonna
Oh my
die
God.
tonight.
Just
If
be-
you guys
just be
don't
live
hear
streaming
from
the whole
me,
time.
and like, if you guys don't hear from me, we need
You're-
to cut this short, though, guys. We're
I,
at
I,
the
thi- I
2 hour
think
mark.
I think we
Yeah,
I
we're-
think
we're
we
going.
nailed it.
Yeah.
First of all, though, Dana, you need to check in.
Okay,
Let
I
me
will
know you
check
got home.
in. I will
That's
check in.
that instinct's kicking in. Let me know you
Thanks,
got home.
Just
guys.
live stream the whole time.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
I'll just. Can I get Melon on my phone, which is like, come with me to my car that has a giant.
let's
dent in the
not do
door.
that.
Let's not talk
Let's
about
not
it.
do that. Let's not dox you on air in live time.
There.
Pixels and ink and doxing.
See?
Yeah, no, we're not
This
doing
is
that.
why. This is why Brendan has to never go anywhere without me because I need an adult. This place is scary. Why am I saying this? Like people are listening. They're gonna find me. They know I'm alone. Help. Okay. Chris is
forgot
like,
Kevin.
I can't. Oh, so
It's
good.
Christmas season. We're full circle.
Okay.
We've come full
Did
circle. It's time to end.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna do
Next
it for us
week.
this week.
Wait, next week
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
be a year older.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats. No, fuck that.
Ah.
There. I'll be a whole
exactly
new person.
what I said. Exactly what
I
I,
will
said
be
a
a
couple of
whole
months ago.
new person.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just felt like I needed to plug that it was my birthday soon because I like
Oh.
attention. Thanks.
Hmm.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, should we celebrate that? We'll do it next week. We're long today.
Let's not.
That's going to do it for us this week. If you'd like to read more on these topics, except for Dana's birthday, you can find more full coverage on cgmagonline.com. Be sure to follow CG Magazine on all the socials. Just search CG Mag. You'll find us. Maybe one less social in the future. We'll see. If you have any questions or comments, send them to podcast@cgmagonline.com. Kari, thanks for joining us midstream.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Where can people find you?
Fine. Well, I mean, for the moment, I guess you can find me at @Rosian_Z, but depending on what happens with Musk. And basically you can find my my reviews on at CG Mag. So CG Mag Online.
True story.
And yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much
One
all
of
that I
them
got
on
going on
Sunday.
right now.
Oh, Sunday. Stay
Ooh,
tuned.
Sunday.
And
Oh, I'm
Jordan.
so sorry I did that.
I feel like for like solidarity reasons, I should just say like fuck social media, but
Just
you can
because one of them's bad doesn't mean they all are.
We
Yeah, I
are
guess you
content
could-
creators. We are kind of beholden to them, like it or not.
You know what we're doing right now?
It's just, you know,
Streaming.
it's,
Content.
I went on a huge fucking tangent about Twitter, and now I'm just like, oh yeah, come to my social medias. No, you
That's
can
kind of why
se-
I felt
Yours
funny
isn't
reading the
Twitter,
social
though.
media part. It's like, yeah, follow us on the
Yeah.
socials, except maybe
Um,
not Twitter soon.
I
We'll
gave
see.
up and
You-
started eating. This took too long.
Sometimes I'm drawing and posting things on Instagram, and sometimes I'm making some content on Instagram or TikTok at Ninja X Jordan, and I'm probably taking a brief hiatus because of travel reasons from Ninja Jordan reviews on YouTube. But you can find me there if you want to watch old videos. I made them; they're good.
Science.
Science.
I am in some places, probably. I at the Dana Eileen. If you can't spell my name, look at CG Meg online. I'm kind of all over the place there, and I don't know what socials I have. I got Instagram. I got Twitter for now. Is that it? I don't know. I've got TikTok. Sorry.
Sorry. And you can find me on MySpace at Hugathy, or here on Twitch at Guild 2 Taps. 2 weeks from now, we'll be doing our charity stream for Extra Life for 24
Yes.
hours. So we'll be talking some more about that on our own socials there. So please tune
You
in.
should
if
probably write something about that soon, Because I'm
Well,
not doing it for you.
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
We'll
talk.
go there.
We
I
got
wrote
this.
about it last year. It's fine. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Peace out.